needs any more confidence. But when a player of his stature is getting calls regularly now, or at least to start, like he wasn't last year, what can that do for him, if anything?
Well, I mean, clearly the obvious one is going to put him on the power play more, but I think naturally it should give him a little more space over time. Because if he's going to start getting those calls, and the opponent's going to have to be a little more conscious of what they're doing. I think that's ultimately is the official's job, is to make those appropriate calls to give the players the space and allow them to have a fair opportunity to play and use their skills and all those kind of things. So, I think that it's early in the season. We'll see how it goes. Usually, the standard and how things are called varies throughout the course of the season. But early on, he's been getting those calls. But as I talked about, I think he's really, he's trying to find his game and trying to find his rhythm. And he's really, he's engaged and involved in a lot of stuff that's happening physically.
That is Coach Keefe. And so we said this earlier. I mean, a week later, when it looked like the 20-man roster was etched in stone, it's not. And there's a lot of change here, isn't there, Frankie C?
Yeah, there is. And I'm excited for this game. Listen, I love the skill. I love the high offense games, but there's a little part of me that just loves the anticipation of guys like Kyle Clifford and Wayne Simmons getting into the lineup for their first game against an opponent where we know it's been edgy in the past. We know there's been fireworks in the past. I'm really excited to see how these guys come out and throw their body around tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And, the Jets have only played one game on home ice before, and that was their season home opener. So a lot at stake for them as well. This is Leafs Game Night at TSN 1050 in the Leafs Radio Network.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved.
Oh, hi. I'd like to apply for a loan so I can consolidate some of my debts.
Sure. Do you own your home?
Yes, but Carl, our resident ghost, keeps saying it's his house and we should get out.
Okay, but you are the registered owner.
Yes.
Then you're approved.
Hey, hear that, Carl? Huh?
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved.
Go to alpinecredits.ca to get started. Some conditions apply.
FSRA license 12616.
NHLshop.ca, the official online store of the National Hockey League. And Canada's largest selection of officially licensed NHL fan gear. With unique one-of-a-kind designs by Fanatics, Adidas, and all the latest styles for every NHL team. Don't miss out. Shop now and get today's special offer. NHLshop.ca, a Fanatics experience.
Some people think going to the movies is about watching one, but they've forgotten the true magic of the cinema. At the movies, you can smell the memory of being a kid. Taste the wonder in losing yourself in a well-directed masterpiece. Touch the parts of your heart you forgot were still tender. And hear the contagious laughter of the crowd. See the lights dim and the energy shift. It's time to get back to it. Feel again at a theater near you.
It's 3-2 in their first 5 games. Some good moments, but that home ice loss to Arizona left a mark. And, guys, so did the opener in Montreal. Tonight, the lineup is fortified with Simmons and Clifford. There is history with the Jets. Physical play expected. Will the fourth line tinkering make a difference? Another good night from Nick Robertson. What could he do for an encore? Well, let's find out. Molson Canadian Leafs hockey starts now.
It's time for Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
And starting a road trip, a 5-game and 9 nights road trip in Winnipeg. Welcome aboard. Jim Taddy and Frankie Corrado with you. Joe Bowen and Jimmy Rouse standing by. The starting lineup is brought to you by Molson Canadian and Molson Ultra. Get $4 18-ounce Molson Canadian for dine-in at Chuck's Roadhouse during all Leaf games. And here's the lineup. Matthews between Marner and Bunting. Tavares between Nylander and Robertson. Kerfoot between Yarncroke and Aston Reese. And Camp centering Simmons and Clifford. Riley, Brody, Sandine Hall, Gio and Mete on the blue line. Samsonov starts in goal. Frankie C., what do you make of all that?
Well, listen, we're going to have a little more sandpaper in the lineup. There's going to be some physicality. But for me, the big story or the other story is Austin Matthews. I think, he hasn't gotten into his rhythm yet, but he still has 1 goal and 2 assists. And the assist he got on Thursday against Dallas was a big one for the game winner. And that whole night, he did a lot of really good things. And I think that's just the sign of such an elite player where, he drew 2 penalties. He's drawn 6 penalties already this season, which is tied for second in the league. And he just did so much grunt work where, there's certain guys where if they're not scoring, they're not necessarily bringing a lot to the table. For Austin Matthews, he has that awareness in the moment to understand that, okay, this is what the game has given me. This is what I need to take, and I can still contribute to my team in a big way and find a way to factor in. So I think that's just the evolution of Austin Matthews and what he's become as a player. He's such a leader. He's such a strong player, and every night he's really doing something to make you understand that.
And he battled through some pain. He got hit with a cross-check against Dallas and spoke about that earlier today.
Yeah, the cross-check stung a little bit, but it was just kind of one of those things, nothing serious, obviously, but just kind of stung for about 24 hours, but, it feels fine now. So.
We haven't been able to ask you much what it's like to getting calls, but you are through the first several games here, Austin. What do you think the difference is, or is there, or have you seen that?
Yeah, I don't know, just trying to move my feet when I have the puck and, not invite contact, but obviously you guys play physical, and that's perfectly fine. I think just kind of read off of what they're trying to do and try to get body position to kind of force them to take a penalty, or you have a more clear lane to make a play.
What do you think about getting the calls? Is it reassuring or relief now, or how would you see that?
I don't pay too much attention to that. I think it's just I think it helps the team. Obviously, puts us under an advantage for 2 minutes to try and go out and get a goal on the power play.
Do you feel like it was a good step for the line in terms of getting up some offensive rhythm the other night, or where do you feel like you guys are at?
Yeah, I think it was a positive direction for us. I think as a team through 5 games, we're 3-2, and I don't think we've quite played as well as we'd like to, and obviously haven't really scratched the ceiling of what we believe is that is for our team. So you just want to continue to progress, take steps in the right way, and obviously this is a really good, important road trip for us to get going here, especially early on in the season, to kind of come together, create chemistry and stuff like that on the ice, off the ice, and just have fun going and playing some hockey.
What makes Jets games, they see them like you guys aren't division rivals, I guess the North Division, but what makes these games kind of edgy?
They have a good team over there. They got good players. I think maybe some of it stems from the COVID year and seeing each other quite a bit, and a lot of their core guys are still there intact, and likewise on our side too. So they're a good team. They play with a lot of pace. Offensively, they're good, and defensively, they're pretty solid as well. Good goaltending. So I think it's a pretty evenly matched game, and anybody can really beat anybody in this league. It doesn't really matter what the team or what the circumstance is. You got to go out there and play and compete.
How different is the feel in the lineup when you got Wayne and Kyle dressing for you guys?
Yeah, those two guys are ultimate teammates, ultimate warriors. Obviously, in their careers, they've really grinded themselves into the position that they are in today, and to have the careers that they've had. So obviously, two guys that play physical. They're always going to have your back out there, and they bring a lot of energy and intensity to our team. So I definitely don't think it's a negative thing to have guys like that in your lineup.
What's your sense of what they've gone through this year? Not making the team out of camp and then finding their way back in.
Oh, well, it's not easy, but I think, for those two guys, they have enough experience in this league and kind of know how things work, and, just always staying ready, whether it's injuries, whether it's getting called into the lineup, they always stay ready. So, I don't think that's too much of a concern as far as their situation and stuff goes. I think they're both, ultimate professionals and guys that have been around for a long time.
Austin Matthews getting set for the Winnipeg Jets. Frankie, see, here's what I like the most about this game. It's a term I used to throw at O-Dog a number of times. It's non-negotiable. This is a road game. It's the start of a 5-game road trip. It's in Winnipeg. There's physical history with the Jets, and you have Clifford and Simmons added to the lineup, their debut performance for this season. So this is a non-negotiable. This has to be physical. There's no question about that.
That's exactly it. You can't hide from it tonight. And nor do you want to. I think as a player, you want this challenge. You want something to look forward to. There's nights on a Tuesday night in the middle of an 82-game season where you're just not going to have it. tonight, Saturday night in Winnipeg, with the animosity that has followed these two teams over the past couple years and all the storylines and narratives that have been circulating, you want this challenge and you want to be a part of it in a big way. So yeah, you want the puck tonight, you want to be physical, and you want to be involved in the action. I don't think anyone on the Maple Leafs roster is going to want to be hiding from anything that's happening tonight.
I want to go back to something Sheldon Keefe said about the fourth line and the number of times they were lined up in the defensive zone. And he was talking about it. It didn't really work out, but he sort of dared them or tested them. And really, it speaks to early season planning. I mean, you don't really know what you have. You have to figure that out, don't you?
That's exactly it. And a lot of it's just trial and error in this league. And he was trying to get the fourth line out there to eat up some of those dirtier minutes so he can free up the top line to have more of the offensive roles and positions. And that's what happens when your fourth line is going to get a lot of those defensive zone starts. I think Sheldon Keefe mentioned that it's one of the most defensive zone starts for a line in the entire National Hockey League. So yeah, we're not going to see a ton of offense from them. And we're going to see, I guess, guys not being able to establish their game, but that's okay. That's just a work in progress. And tonight, I would imagine we won't see that. We won't see that as much. We'll see this fourth line not start in the defensive zone as much. Probably going to be the top two lines, the third line taking those defensive zone faceoffs. And that's okay. You want everyone to play to their strengths, and maybe that helps. Maybe that helps the top guys get in that quote-unquote rhythm that Sheldon Keefe and a lot of us say that they haven't found yet.
So for the Leafs, obviously the injury list is well known. Liljegren, Dahlstrom, Ben, Murray, and Muzzin are out. Murray and Muzzin on long term. For the Jets, Nikolai Ehlers is out. This is a big loss for them, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a really dynamic player. He's so fast, great shot, really good off the rush. And that's one area where the Leafs do tend to struggle a little bit. It is off the rush. And so the fact that you'll have Ehlers out, he's a good rush player. Cal Connor's still in the lineup. He's another really good rush player. So, they'll look to take advantage of that. But other than that, it is a relatively healthy Jets lineup, and it is a good lineup. Like, this is a team that has a lot to prove as well on the Winnipeg side of things. Like, they're coming off a season where they really underperformed, and they have a new coach now in Rick Bowness, who's making his debut behind the bench, and they're going to have a lot to prove. Like, they have Toronto coming into town. There's a lot of narrative. There's a lot of buzz and attention on Toronto, and as well as in their own backyard, they have a lot to prove this year.
And, they changed captains, so they removed the C from Wheeler, which is kind of a bold move, and I think it's the only move you could make with a new coach. You certainly wouldn't want to do that with an existing coach, would you?
No, and it is an interesting move for sure, and it's kind of a way to make a splash within your organization without making a big trade. It's like a little bit of a wake-up call to everyone involved to say that, listen, things aren't going the way we want it to, but we can't make trades. We can't make moves, but we're going to make an internal move, and this is the new voice for us, or you're not the voice for us. This is not the direction we're going in anymore. So when you talk about Winnipeg having things to prove, that's something that factors into it. It's a wake-up call for that team to say, what we were doing in the past is not good enough. We need to move forward in a good direction. And so, you add in the animosity between these two teams the past couple of years, it makes for a lot of anticipation and hopefully an exciting game tonight.
Okay, over under on the minute mark of the first fisticuffs or rough stuff. I'm going to go with 5 minutes.
Oh God, I hope it's under 5 minutes. I hope Simmons and Clifford are going out there banging bodies and someone says, hey, let's get this out of the way and let's set the tone for tonight.
The opening faceoff is next. Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
I'm having a hard time deciding what to get from 2-for-1 Pizza.
It's pizza. How hard can it be?
It's not just pizza. 2-for-1 Pizza has so many great choices like the plant-based garden pesto pizza, pizza and wings, the pizza and penne combo, and the sweet combo with apple fritter, just to name a few.
Ooh, decisions.
Check out all the great menu items.
Parenthood is like a sport.
What's burning? I'm making eggs. Oh my God. Okay.
An extreme sport. An all-new Children Ruin Everything. Monday at 8/9 Mountain. Set your PVR and get into it. Only on CTV.
At 241 Pizza. Visit 241pizza.com. 241 Pizza. 241.
Hey, James Duthie from McAlpine Lincoln in Aurora. By all means, go ahead and compare Lincoln to the competition. You may be surprised to see how our luxury SUVs stack up. With our calm interiors, suite of standard driver assist technologies, and pickup and delivery service, Lincoln brings you thoughtful experiences and comfort in the extreme. Schedule your discovery test drive and compare Lincoln today. We're confident you'll be extremely glad that you did. For details, visit McAlpineLincoln.com.
Hi, Mom. Came by to see your new house.
Well, we're not.
Mom, your house is empty. No furniture?
Well, dear, we discovered an expensive property boundary issue after we bought the house.
Plastic lawn chairs? Oh, you're living like frat boys. Dad, put some pants on.
Don't risk becoming house poor with frat decor. Get the facts about your new home before you buy with an existing property survey plan from protectyourboundaries.ca. Protectyourboundaries.ca.
Smart businesses are always looking for ways to improve. Better work days can start with Cintas. Your dedicated Cintas service reps help make sure you have what you need when you need it. We'll deliver hygienically clean workwear, clean and sanitize your restroom, stock your essential cleaning products, and provide first aid and safety supplies. Cintas is with you every step of the way, so you stay a step ahead. Visit Cintas.ca.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
At Real Canadian Superstore, we match prices when you show us a lower advertised price. So while you're grabbing cauliflower for tonight's aloo gobi or tomatoes for your famous veggie burgers, or just doing your regular grocery run, you'll know you're getting great prices on all sorts of great stuff. Ad Match is just another way to save for real at Real Canadian Superstore. See flyer for details.
If you have questions about where Canada's oil sands industry stands on climate change, you're not alone. It's time to clear the air. Climate change is a critical challenge. So Canada's 6 largest oil sands companies have teamed up to achieve our goal of net zero emissions. We'll use carbon capture technology to reduce emissions by millions of tons annually. It's a key step in helping Canada meet its climate goals. Come see what we're doing at pathwaysalliance.ca.
Some people think going to the movies is about watching one, but they've forgotten the true magic of the cinema. At the movies, you can smell the memory of being a kid. Taste the wonder in losing yourself in a well-directed masterpiece. Touch the parts of your heart you forgot were still tender. And hear the contagious laughter of the crowd. See the lights dim and the energy shift. It's time to get back to it. Feel again at a theater near you.
TSN 1050. Listen anywhere. Stream us on iHeartRadio, the TSN app, or on Apple CarPlay. TSN 1050. Everywhere you want it.
Toronto Maple Leafs start on a 5-game Western road trip with a stop in Winnipeg tonight. They'll travel on to Vegas, San Jose, Los Angeles, and Anaheim to complete this long stretch after playing just one road game, which opened the season, and a loss in Montreal. Now, the Leafs a year ago, in fact, the last couple of years, have been very, very good on the road. And much has been made about, wow, they get on the road, get to know each other a little better, go out for dinner and all of this. And in truth and honesty, when you're at home, it's difficult to do that. Maybe in the old days, everybody went to some bar somewhere after practice and got to know each other over a few cocktails.
Well, those were the old 14-hour shifts.
Yes, yes. But that doesn't happen anymore at home. Everybody goes their own separate ways and everything else. So this is really a legitimate time for them to kind of bond, to get together, know everybody, get away from the white noise, if you will, and see if they can't get things rolling here on the road.
Yeah, and I think it's always tough when you play 4 or 5 at home to start the season, because the expectations are you better win now because it's going to be harder on the road. And we shall see with the first stop in Winnipeg if we've got the animosity that we saw last season when the Leafs were in Winnipeg.
Ilya Samsonov gets the start in goal, 3-0-0, 1.96 his goals against average, and Connor Hellebuck is 2-1-0 with a 2.66 goals against average. He is 7-6-3 lifetime against Toronto. So the Maple Leafs have had some pretty good success with Hellebuck. as it is cleared into the Winnipeg zone to start the game. The Leafs in their road white, defending the goal to our left, and the Jets in their blue, defending the goal to our right. Puck back in the Toronto zone. Riley gets it ahead, and it's tipped in on goal, cleared by Hellebuck to a defender, and the defenseman starts out. Schmidt bringing it to center. Got it ahead to the line, broken up there by Robertson, played back out at center. Leafs with Tavares in across the line. Tavares holds, got the shot towards the net, and it skipped off Bunting, went in on goal, and was scooped aside nicely there by Hellebuck. Another centering pass went right through the goal crease without any deflection. Played back to the blue line and out by Winnipeg. Shot in on a delayed offside. Leafs will get a change going as Matthews is over the boards along with his group, Bunting and Marner. Jets flip it down into the zone. Perfetti goes after it, cleared by Samsonov into the corner. Leafs get it to the line, but not out. Fired around the wall to the near side. Puck on the near boards, trying to play it out now as it goes to Matthews. Matthews will get it ahead, and it's brought out at center ice and shot down into the Winnipeg zone. Minute and a half gone here in the first period as Stanley gets the puck out at center ice for the Jets. Shot right back down into the into the Winnipeg end. A hit in there by Yarncrook, but the puck comes free. And here's Adam Lowry now bringing it to center. Lowry in on the left wing. Going hard to the net is Manalainen. That was broken up at the Leaf defense as it went into the corner to the blue line. Backhanded in front of the net. Quickly played ahead by Toronto to get it to center. Kerfoot unable to reach it. Played back down in over the line. I think we're having some audio difficulties here at our TSN studios in Toronto as we hope to get the audio from the game in Winnipeg from the Canada Life Center back to you as soon as possible. And along the boards in the offensive zone for Winnipeg, they can't come up with it. And the Leafs, Sandin back of the net. No score early here in the first period. Brought to center ice now by Sandin, dishes it off to Clifford, backhanded towards the net. It was cut off. David Camp thought better of pinching because his defenseman was in there, and a pretty good play made there by Camp to get back into the rush and break things up along the boards back in the Toronto end. Camp?
This is really going to be a challenge for Kyle Clifford and Wayne Simmons. You get back in the lineup. You thought maybe at the start of the year that your playing days in the National Hockey League might be coming to an end. And the difficulty is trying not to do too much. And that even comes from the physical side of things.
Well, we certainly saw that in the playoffs when they decided to play. And then all of a sudden, some silly penalties arose. And all of a sudden, you don't have what you're looking for. And that is the toughness aspect of your line. Play down into the, that's not the cough switch. They play down into the Winnipeg zone.
I think it worked.
Now we got an icy call out. Now we got everything back. We're good to go now. Oh, all right.
Well, these were the first two official shots on goal in this game. You're right. The first chance, the one that sort of bounced in off Michael Bunting. Changed directions enough to find the back of the net, but Connor Hellebuck, because it slowed down enough, was able to kick out the right pad and knock it away. By the way, this is Rick Bonus's first game behind the bench in his return to Winnipeg. He was out with COVID when they started at home and then went on a 3-game road trip.
Marner got across the line, plays it around the boards back of the net for Matthews. Matthews is tripped up, no call. Puck goes into the corner. Matthews almost stole it back, but broke his stick in the process. A flip pass in front of the goal, backhand by Bunting, and it was knocked wide of the goal. Marner quickly onto it in the far corner, and it is cleared up on the wing, but not out. Matthews with a new stick, back to Marner, and a shot whistled wide of the goal and ends up in the screen and out of play.
Well, great early pressure by the Matthews line as Mitch Marner from relatively a sharp angle tries to hammer. Michael Bunting talking with the officials, and I don't know if they're maybe asking why there wasn't a slashing penalty. I didn't see exactly, Joe, how Matthews had his stick snapped in half, but the usual culprit is usually a slash, stick on stick.
Face off coming in the Winnipeg zone. No score. Draw to the right of Hellebuck. Always been one of the more enjoyable rinks to be at as a shot deflects out in front of the net. as the crowd in Winnipeg has always been very vociferous, and they get a chance here. Big save, but they score on the rebound. A shot that was kicked away, but a big juicy rebound off Ilya Samsonov. And it is Dubois who is going to punch it home and give the Jets a 1-0 lead.
I mean, after Justin Hall fired one from the right point that was kicked out, and the Jets come back the other way. Original shot comes from the right wing side. Dubois let it go. Was it Dubois, Joe, that put it in, or was the rebound picked up? No, he picked up his own rebound.
Picked up his own rebound, yep.
And take that, Rick Bonus. Welcome back, and on just the second shot on goal, the Leafs are looking at something, and I don't know if Phil and Keefe is calling the official over. Could this possibly be an offside review? Pierre-Luc wants the face-off.
Yes,
right away.
But he's the referees tonight are Graham Skilleter. He's talking with Sheldon Keefe about this. Corey Sevrett, the other referee. Caleb Apperson is one of the linesmen, and Steve Barton as well.
Looked like Sheldon Keefe looked at it and then kind of went,
ooh, that's close.
Man, Blake Wheeler looked like he was offside, but...
Oh, they're going to play on McDuff. So the Jets get the opening goal. Nylander working the boards in the offensive zone. Got it back to the blue line. Just kept in, but quickly played out now by the Jets. And the Jets play it ahead. The Leafs get it to the line rather than cross the line for Tavares. Tavares trying to shoulder his way into the corner. Got it back towards the blue line. Just kept in by Sandin. Bounces to the side of the goal, but Robertson couldn't get a stick on it. Played to the line and out now by Winnipeg. 1-0 Jets here early in the first period. Bouncing puck in the neutral zone. Robertson bulls his way in over the line and then just plays it in deep and curls to the Toronto bench. Leafs with 4 shots on goal, just 2 for Winnipeg. Both of them came from Dubois, who had his first shot stopped by Samsonov, but was able to convert the rebound. Leafs get it down into the corner for Kyle Clifford. Clifford trying to play it back along. Camp got it back to the point, near side for Brody. He sends it towards the net, but it was well wide. He was hoping for a redirect, and it comes back out into the center ice area. Brody in across the line again. Clifford goes down into the corner, plays it around back of the net into the far side. Camp back to the point. Shot coming in traffic, knocked away. Simmons unable to get to it. Gets to the boards to try and tie it up with his skates, and the puck is still free as it comes to the near side, and now up on the left wing boards it is broken up, and now the Winnipeg Jets have the puck again in their own end.
These are actually out shooting Winnipeg 4-2, but the Jets on the same play get both shots. Pierre-Luc Dubois getting his own rebound to put them up by 1.
Played down into the Toronto zone, flipped around on the right wing side. It'll come to Marner. Marner gets an outlet pass ahead, and it'll be fired deep into the Winnipeg end. Down the boards, it goes into the corner. Unable to get to it was Bunting. It comes back to the point, kept alive by Marner. Marner with a shot, just off the mark wide. Matthews tries to return the favor to get it to Hall. Hall on the far side. Now to Matthews. Oh, he had half the net if he'd have made contact, but he fanned on the shot completely on the one-timer. Now gets it in front of another shot, and that one went just wide. Kept in at the blue line. Marner with it again, looking in front of the net, trying to find his man. Got it off on the wing, but Sandin was unable to keep it in, and it's out into the center ice area.
Boy, Austin Matthews, even the second opportunity from the high slot was a spectacular one for him, and it looks as though Winnipeg is going to take the first penalty of this game, and it's going to be an interference call.
And Bunting and Dillon are having some words, and a bit of a smile fest going on, but a penalty coming here to the Winnipeg Jets.
Or is it? I mean, we're seeing a highlight of Michael Bunting looked to be the one with the infraction.
Well, we'll find out when we come back. It is a 1-0 Winnipeg lead. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hey, James Duffy from McAlpine Lincoln in Aurora. By all means, go ahead and compare Lincoln to the competition. You may be surprised to see how our luxury SUVs stack up. With our calm interiors, suite of standard driver assist technologies, and pickup and delivery service, Lincoln brings you thoughtful experiences and comfort in the extreme. Schedule your discovery test drive and compare Lincoln today. We're confident you'll be extremely glad that you did. For details, visit McAlpineLincoln.com.
Extend the summer feeling and escape the fall weather by heading down to Cuba. And with Sunwing's limited time Save More event, you'll get more sun, surf, and smiles, but for a lot less. With savings at select top-rated resorts in Cuba, there's never been a better time to get away. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Book by November 6th with your travel agent or Sunwing.ca.
Whoa, my new backyard pool is so big, we call it the Bay of Bro.
The pool goes right up to your fence.
Dude.
You got a survey plan, right?
Bromeister don't need no survey plan, just sunshine and suds.
Bro, the city is going to make you tear it out.
Don't put your brodacious reno at risk. Get an existing survey plan of your property before you build or renovate from protectyourboundaries.ca. Protectyourboundaries.ca.
Overdrive, Toronto's favorite way to drive home. Weekdays 4 to 7 on TSN 1050.
Face-Off brought to you by Alpine Credits. Do you own your own home and need a loan? Alpine Credits can help. Get approved at alpinecredits.ca. It is the Jets who are on the power play, and so Bunting is in the penalty box on the collision with Dubois. And so, or with Dillon, rather. And Winnipeg comes in with 2 of 11 on the power play in the early going. Pass back to the point, and a drive whistled wide of the goal by Morrissey. The puck to the side of the net, chipped along the wall, not cleared by the Maple Leafs, kept in down low, stolen there by Hall. Looks for an opening, but can't get enough on it. And now the Leafs do get to it, and Hall is able to punch it the rest of the way down into Winnipeg territory.
By the way, Michael Bunting is the Leaf that's in the penalty box. 2 minutes for interference.
Morrissey gets across the line. Riley intercepted that. Down the ice it goes. Leaf penalty killing thus far. 20 times shorthanded. They've given up 4 goals thus far. Brought on by the Jets to the line. And it bogged down sufficiently to provide an offside.
Now, did the referee have his arm up? We just got a quick glimpse. No, it was an offside, but it did appear as though the referee had his arm up. And there's an interference call. We're just not really sure. Yeah, it's Morrissey going. So the Leafs and Jets are going to play a little 4-on-4 now. So the Leafs get a little more than halfway through the penalty kill.
Yeah, Morrissey.
Boy, yeah, this is kind of a weak call, too, as Morrissey was pulling up to stay on side, right into Young Crook. And that's going to cost them 2 minutes for interference.
So they'll play 4-on-4 here for 59 seconds. And the Jets leading in the hockey game 1-0. And the draw scrummed as the puck comes back in behind the Winnipeg goal. Schmidt gets it up on the wing to center. Broken up at the Leaf blue line. Played up on the wing. The Leafs trying to get to the loose puck, and they do, but they'll curl it back, and Hall will skate back into his own zone. Camp and Robertson, the forwards. Camp takes the pass and then finds Robertson available on right wing. Robertson in over the line, scooping it around back of the net. It won't reach Camp, and the Jets are able to control now and have back in their own end. Both teams are trying to get a change going as Schmidt takes it back of the Winnipeg goal. 15 seconds before the Leafs will get an abbreviated first power play of this game. And Willie Nylander is out there with Marner. That's broken up. The puck back in the zone, but here are the Jets trying to get it in front. Knocked away, and it is cleared to the line, but not out. Grabbed off there by Lowry, trying to send it in front of the goal. They bang away at it and went just wide. Leafs now on the power play, and Matthews has the puck. He'll drop it back for Morgan Riley. Riley looks back and finds Marner. Marner coming to the line and in on the right side. Left it for Nylander. Rung around the boards. It'll find Matthews on the far side. Back it goes to Marner. Marner trying to get it back to the point. Nice play there by Matthews to keep it alive. Here's Marner with it again in the corner. Marner looking in front for Tavares, goes to the point. Riley gives it back to Matthews on the far side. Back to Riley. Now to Nylander. 20 seconds in the power play. Riley, far side off Matthews' skate. Didn't see it. Able to recover it, though. Back on his skates nicely. In front for Willie. Tavares scores! Two brilliant plays. One by Matthews to regain his skates and the possession of the puck. And then Nylander makes a beautiful little pass. And Johnny Tavares snaps home the tying goal.
There were actually two plays that Austin Matthews bailed the Leafs out. And one was where he had to dive to push the puck back to the left point to keep it in. That was about 20 seconds earlier. And the next time it almost looks, the way Matthews plays, that it might have been deliberate. Looked like he had gone the wrong way as the puck bounced behind him off the boards. Turned the wrong way, then recovered, had the Jet player blow past him. He was able to throw it to the front of the net. Nylander then to Tavares and up over the right shoulder of Hellebuck to tie the game at 1.
Power play goal for the Maple Leafs, brought to you by Subaru, as the Leafs gain their 5th power play goal of the season. They're ranked 15th in the NHL, and of course, a year ago, they were number 1 percentage-wise. Played down into the Winnipeg end. Kerfoot and Yarncrook after it. Kerfoot comes up with it, but running out of real estate. Tried to center in front of the net, but Aston Reese couldn't help him out, and it's back out into the center ice area. Played back in over the line. Here's Kerfoot with it again for Toronto. Kerfoot dropping, and a shot by Clifford was deflected wide. Clifford trying to work there with Wayne Simmons along the boards. Simmons comes out of the corner with it. Back to the point, and a shot, pad save. Oh, a juicy rebound. Lay at the foot of the pad of Hellebuck, but was collected nicely there by the Winnipeg defense. And none of the Leafs could get to it. I think it was Schmidt who did the damage there. We're going to get a penalty here, and it's going to go to Kyle Clifford for tripping.
Yeah, that's what we talked about. You've got to be smart in your shifts, and Kyle Clifford ends up taking a tripping penalty in the offensive zone, trying to go after Schmidt. Although Schmidt seemed a little wobbly on his skates there, didn't he? Losing an edge and going down.
So it is a 1-1 tie. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved.
Oh, hi. I'd like to apply for a loan so I can consolidate some of my debts.
Sure. Do you own your home?
Yes, but Carl, our resident ghost, keeps saying it's his house and we should get out.
Okay, but you are the registered owner.
Yes.
Then you're approved.
Hey, hear that, Carl? Huh?
When you're a doctor, sometimes trying to keep hope alive is the biggest challenge.
He was lucky he had you fighting for him.
Why?
Because that's who you are.
An all-new transplant. Get into it Friday, 9/10 Mountain. Set your PVR, only on CTV.
Hockey, it's here. Listen to every NHL game for free, now with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Download the official NHL app now.
I want to break free.
Ready to break free? See the world with Norwegian and enjoy 35% off all cruises to Alaska, Europe, and more. We'll even help you get there with free airfare for second guest. Plus, enjoy free open bar, free specialty dining, and more. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Offer ends soon. Norwegian Cruise Line. Sail safe, feel free. Ships registry the Bahamas and USA. Restrictions apply.
Joe Bowen along with Jim Ralph here at our TSN studios at the corner of McCowan and 401. Leafs in Winnipeg, and we apologize for the audio situation. We've had a little bit of a glitch going from the rink in Winnipeg, the Canada Life Center. I have our best men working on it to try and work us through, so bear with us, if you will, as we bring you this game via a screen here at TSN with the audio coming from Winnipeg. Puck down into the Leaf zone, brought back at the blue line now by Morrissey. Morrissey holds on the right wing side of drive, and that whistled wide and may have gone off a stick or a skate, but ends up into the screen in behind Ilya Samsonov. And a face-off coming in the Toronto zone. 1:35 left in the power play.
Ilya Samsonov has not had one of those games where he's had to stand on his head. And even right now, I think that's only the third shot on goal. Dubois scored on his own rebound. Those were the first 2 shots of the game. So for Samsonov, we get a little pull down there sometimes.
Here's good pad save, and another shot is stopped by Samsonov and cleared by Toronto. There are 2 big-time stops by the Leaf netminder on this penalty kill. Morrissey dropping the puck back in his own zone. Brought through center ice and across the line by Kyle Connor. Connor looks to get it back to Morrissey, who cannot keep it in, and now loses it. And Yarncrook trying to rag the puck a little bit, gets it back into his own zone. Then a lead pass for him that was just out of his reach and goes down into the Winnipeg zone. Unlike the Canadian division, this is the only trip to Winnipeg. And so I'm sure a lot of the blue sweaters we're seeing in attendance are Maple Leaf vintage, as opposed to the blue, red, and white of the Winnipeg Jets.
Who, by the way, are wearing their throwback jerseys, the ones they wore back in the 80s.
Brought on by Perfetti. He couldn't get in across the line cleanly. And the Leafs have launched it out and down the ice by the penalty killers with 20 seconds left to go in it. Broken up at the Leaf defense again. A lead pass almost sprung Robertson, who is out for the final seconds here in the penalty kill. And off a skate, and the Leafs have done a nice job, other than the 2 big saves right off, bang, bang, that Samsonov has had to make. The Jets have not been able to set up in their offensive zone, and the penalties expired. 6:50 to go first period. Still tied 1-1. Pionk trying to get it out, has it go off Clifford's skate and goes up into the crowd and out of play, and a faceoff coming in the Winnipeg zone, I believe, when we get a look at the linesman here to see where they're going to send that. But 2 big saves made by one, the toe, and then Scheifele getting across. Did that get to...
Yeah, it looks the rebound. It looked like it went off Justin Hall, didn't it?
Yep.
But Samsonov was there.
Yes, he was. And so I'm going to give him the save on this because very few people will give the goaltender the break. Down along the boards, the Leafs get it back to the blue line. Shot by Riley goes high off the end glass. Bunting unable to get to it. And now here are the Jets coming out of their own zone. DeMello got it to the line and in. Knocked into the corner by Mete. Mete and Giordano, now the defense tandem. Back to the point, kept in. Blue line from Dillon. Shot glove by Samsonov. Held for a face-off in the Toronto zone. And Ilya Samsonov comes into the game with a 1.96 goals against average and a .927 save percentage.
Yeah, 2 goals against in every game. You get below 2 thanks to the extra time you played in overtime. When the Leafs defeated the Dallas Stars their last time out on Thursday night.
Face-off coming in the Leaf zone, won by Toronto. Fed around the boards by Sandin. The Leafs don't get the puck out, though. Now here's a pass back to the blue line, and a drive is knocked down in front of the net. Leafs Robertson trying to settle it down, but it goes around back of the goal. Hall is there. Hall will play it off the wall and just get it out at center ice. Leafs back in their own zone. Nylander trying to find Tavares. Got it ahead to Robertson, and then the pass from Robertson on the backhand didn't reach its intended target. Shot by Winnipeg back into the Toronto end. Hall on the near side. Gets around one of the 4 checkers. Now turns to look up ice with a forehand pass. Simmons couldn't get it in deep. Brought back the other way by Perfetti. Perfetti into the slot areas, twisting and turning with it. Gets it back to the point. Logan Stanley rolls it in front of the Leaf goal, and the Maple Leafs are there to flip it high and get it out at center ice. It was Logan Stanley who provided the championship belt routine a couple of trips ago into Winnipeg, was it not, Mr. Ralph?
I believe, yes. Raising the hands above his head, holding his helmet. The cheers of the hometown fans.
Dillon at the point with a drive, and he whistled that over top of the Leaf goal, and it's caromed off the dasher board and gone up into the screen and out of play. 4:58 left to be played here in period number 1. The Leafs won and the Jets won. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
I'm having a hard time deciding what to get from 2-for-1 Pizza.
It's pizza. How hard can it be?
It's not just pizza. 2-for-1 Pizza has so many great choices like the plant-based garden pesto pizza, pizza and wings, the pizza and penne combo, and the sweet combo with apple fritter, just to name a few.
Ooh, decisions.
Check out all the great menu items at 241 Pizza. Visit 241pizza.com.
241 Pizza, 241, 241.
I'm building a tiny home in our backyard so my mother can live right next to us.
What? You've got a survey plan, right? And a rabies test for her.
Yep, survey plan for the building permit and to avoid boundary issues.
Boundary issues with your mother. You'll be moving into that tiny house with her.
Don't risk building permit problems or family fiascos with your next reno. Get an existing survey plan of your property before you build from protectyourboundaries.ca. Protectyourboundaries.ca.
At Real Canadian Superstore, we match prices when you show us a lower advertised price. So while you're grabbing cauliflower for tonight's aloo gobi or tomatoes for your famous veggie burgers, or just doing your regular grocery run, you'll know you're getting great prices on all sorts of great stuff. Ad Match is just another way to save for real at Real Canadian Superstore. See flyer for details.
There's no better way to drive home than with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog. Overdrive every weekday, 4 to 7 p.m. on TSN 1050.
Showing a very nice picture of the statue outside the Winnipeg Arena that has been unveiled this year, honoring the late Dale Howardchuk, a good friend and a wonderful person. And what a tremendous player. As a bouncing puck is shot in at the Winnipeg goal and cleared back out at center.
Yeah, I was lucky to be out there for the golf tournament they had for Dale that they still do in Winnipeg every year. And they were excited. They were doing the unveiling the following week. And it's literally a block from the hotel we used to stay at when we were out there. And it's taken from a picture done by photographer Bruce Bennett, who's done some great photos for the National Hockey League. And the unveiling was great. A lot of former teammates came in for it. And his impact is felt not only on the ice, the loss on the ice, but throughout the community in Winnipeg.
Yes, I echo that. Just a tremendous individual. And, of course, very much involved in Barrie Junior A hockey. And very, very sadly missed for sure. Played along the boards in the Winnipeg zone. Matthews gets it back to the point. Here's Marner stepping in, drops it back. Matthews let it go, and he snapped it wide of the goal. The crosshairs just aren't quite there yet for Austin Matthews, are they?
No, only goal in the season so far has not been the patented wrist shot. It was on a redirection.
Now he makes a couple of nice moves to get it over the line. Was hauled down. Is there going to be a penalty? Yes. The goaltender, we can just see him coming out of the picture to get to the thing. We can't see the official with his arm up. But Samsonov has gone to the bench. So the Leafs have an extra attacker on the ice. They get it to the line, and Nylander is in. Nylander with a shot. And just trying to redirect that was Giordano heading to the front of the goal. And here is the touch-up and the first full power play opportunity. And it'll be brought to you by your Ontario Subaru dealers. Beware of deep fake car claims online. With over 97% of the Subarus sold still on the road after 10 years. Don't fall for fakes this fall. Get the real deal only at your Subaru dealer.
I'm not trying to be smart with this, but Austin Matthews got to be close to what, in drawing penalties, is what he did all of last year. Is he not?
I'm just going to say, no, because we commented on that throughout the course of last year. This is at least 5, I think, of the...
He drew a couple in one game already this season. And Matthews will start on the power play unit with Tavares and Willie Nylander.
Leafs are 1 for 1 with the man advantage.
That was a secondary assist by Austin Matthews, but a spectacular one at that.
Played around the boards off a face-off win, but the Leafs keep it in. Good play by Nylander to trap it. Leafs back at the blue line, and Nylander gets the pass again. Down in back of the net for Marner. Tried to center quickly, and Matthews hit the side of the goal. Marner again. Rubbed out and down. and not getting up very quickly. And now just getting up on his skates. Back down and over the line come the Jets, and a long shot goes high and wide. Marner just getting to the bench. Brought in over the line by Toronto. Here's a chance for the backhand try by Riley that was just wide. Back in front of the net, Riley on the near side. Matthews let it go, and he missed the net, and it's caromed all the way down the ice.
I'm not so sure John Tavares didn't take a high stick going to the front of the net earlier as well. I think Marner was looking for a penalty, maybe a boarding call.
Yarncroc getting it ahead. Brought to the line, but unable to penetrate there was Bunting. Second unit out for Toronto. And the Leafs with it in their own neutral zone. Kerfoot gains the zone. On the wing for Robertson. Got a return pass. Sends it back to the blue line again. Sandin, a shot, didn't get through. Yarncroc couldn't come up with it. And it is cleared out and down the ice. With 38 seconds left in the power play. 2:15 to go first period. We're tied at 1.
You like Sandin with that wrist shot from the point, don't you? Get traffic in front.
Just get it through. Get it through. Wrapped into the corner. Yarncroc trying to play it around the boards and does to Kerfoot. Kerfoot back to Robertson. Robertson to Sandin. Back to Robertson, the one-timer. And he kind of heeled that one off the heel of his stick and it went harmlessly wide. Leafs get it back to the blue line again. Sandin walks the line. Dishes off on the wing for Kerfoot. Back to Sandin. Here's a shot. And again, missed the net. Into the corner again. Pass in front for Yarncroc, and it bounced over his stick, and he was unable to get it, and the penalty has expired as the Jets will send it down into the Toronto zone. We talked about this the other night. Craig Hartsburg and how he got pucks through as we get an offside at the Winnipeg blue line.
And just with a wrist shot.
Just get it through.
Boy, I tell you take a look at Mitch Marner, is his face. He gets hit from behind right into the boards, the top of the boards. And he's got the tire marks to prove it. I mean, I don't know how you missed this call. And John Tavares, I thought just before that in a line rush, took a stick to the face. But the Leafs do not capitalize on the remainder of the power play they've already got, and they're not able to draw a 5-on-3 when it looks like you certainly could have. I mean, I don't know what more has to happen from Marner's standpoint, Joe, to draw a penalty there.
Well, it looked like DeMello was the one that drilled him, if I'm not mistaken. Minute 6 to go in the period. Leafs fourth line out there now. Here's Camp getting the puck along the boards. Aston Reese trying to dig it free. And when it does come free, it comes along the boards and now launched high to the blue line and just out at center ice. Camp will send it back. Leafs tip it down into the offensive end with 38 seconds to go. Logan Stanley, a pass through center down into the Leaf end. Centering effort there by Dubois didn't work. Now around back of the net into the far corner. It comes back to the point. Trapped there, left wing side, Morrissey sends it well wide of the Leaf goal. On the far wing, Robertson getting it back behind the net with a good play. And now the Maple Leafs with Hall looking up ice and finding a man. Robertson sends it in over the line. Nylander with room to the net, and when he let it go, the stick of Morrissey just got there to redirect it. 3 seconds left in the period. They'll get to the blue line on a 2-on-1, and the long shot is stopped by goaltender Samsonov, and the period ended. It was a 2-on-1 that got cut short.
One thing you like from a Leafs standpoint is Winnipeg, even on the power play, Joe, did not have a lot of sustained pressure in the Toronto end. Samsonov was forced to come up with a couple of big stops. The only goal that just scored was off the rush. And I thought the Leafs territorially dominated that opening 20 minutes, but tied on the scoreboard.
So it is a 1-1 tie. Jim Taddy, Frankie Corrado standing by with our first period intermission. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
You already know that Maple Toyota has a great selection of reliable pre-owned vehicles, many of which have been serviced there throughout their entire ownership. But did you know that they also have a great selection of as-is inventory? That means if you certify it yourself, you save. So if you're looking for a great deal, check out Maple Toyota's pre-owned as-is inventory. You certify, you save. It's that easy. Make it easy. Make it Maple. MapleToyota.com.
Part of the Zankin Auto Group.
Businesses don't run on automation or algorithms alone. What powers businesses are your people and the people they serve. At Cintas, your dedicated service reps understand what you need to help you keep your employees feeling safe, comfortable, and performing their best. So your business can too. For workwear, essential cleaning products, and first aid and safety supplies, visit Cintas.ca.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
You don't ride an elevator for the music, and you don't pick an airline for the movies. So when it comes to audio entertainment, it makes sense to choose Audible. It's the home for stories told by the biggest stars, like John Hamm, Kerry Washington, and Kevin Hart. It's home to epic adventures, chilling mysteries, and can't-miss comedies. Audible is the home of storytelling. Let your imagination soar with audiobooks, podcasts, and originals. Start listening free at audible.ca.
We've been friends a long time. We can discuss anything, right?
Sure, bud.
Well, I have an issue.
No kidding. You cheer for Boston.
An issue down there?
Hey, half of all guys experience erectile dysfunction. Heard of Felix? Felix connects you to a doctor for an assessment. No appointment, no pharmacy visit, no awkward conversations. Treatment is delivered discreetly to your door.
Sounds great.
I just wish you'd be more discreet about wearing that Boston jersey in Toronto.
Go to felix.ca/1050 to start your online visit.
Say konnichiwa to Japan with Air Canada. Get ready for the adventure of a lifetime with our non-stop year-round flights to Tokyo from Toronto. Now's your chance to savor umami moments in local izakayas, wander through neon-soaked streets, sing your heart out in a karaoke bar, and get your zen on in ancient temples. Are you ready to make sumo-sized memories? The land of the rising sun awaits your arrival. Book now at aircanada.com or contact your travel agent.
Are you kidding me? Out of ink?
Megatank.
That's the last time. What's that printer that comes with 30 times the ink of standard printers?
Megatank.
It's a Canon Megaton?
Megatank.
Yeah, it's a Canon printer. It comes with like $2,000 worth of ink compared to Canon ink cartridges.
Megatank.
Megalodon?
Listen to the voice in your head and get a Canon Megatank printer so you don't have to think about ink for a long, long time. Canon Megatank printers available at Best Buy, Amazon, and Staples.
Today on Hey Culligan, reverse to reduce. Here's Bob.
Hey Culligan, I love fresh water, but I got plastic bottles coming out.
Whoa, Bob, you are not kidding about the bottles. But did you know Culligan's reverse osmosis and always-on drinking water systems provide fresh, clean, delicious drinking water and help reduce the equivalent of over 15 billion plastic bottles from landfills worldwide?
Holy, fresh, environmentally friendly drinking water. Am I right?
Right, Bob. And we're already on the way. Let us help you out with free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.ca.
TSN 1050. Listen anywhere. Stream your favorite shows in your car. Available on Apple CarPlay via the iHeartRadio app. TSN 1050. Everywhere you want it. Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Riley, far side off Matthews' skate, didn't see it. Able to recover it, though, back on the skates nicely. In front for Willie. Tavares scores! Two brilliant plays. One by Matthews to regain his skates and the possession of the puck. And then Nylander makes a beautiful little pass. And Johnny Tavares snaps home the tying goal.
It remains Winnipeg 1, Toronto 1 after 20 minutes of play. TSN After 20 is brought to you by your Ontario Subaru dealers. Beware of deep fake vehicles pretending to be Subarus. Don't fall for fakes this fall. Get the real deal at your Subaru dealer with award-winning safety and symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive. Jim Taddy and Frankie Corrado with you. Frankie C. I'm just going to go on names that I'm going to do sort of an eye test analysis. Austin Matthews was very noticeable in that period. Plus minus, you could see him battle through. Obviously whiffed on the shot, the one-timer, and seemed to re-aggravate whatever injury he had, but really battled through, didn't he?
Exactly right. And we're seeing him battle with his shot as well. Like, he's not hitting the net. He's not getting his shot off the way he wants. He's whiffing on the one-timers. And you add that with the fact that he's playing that physical, robust kind of game, winning puck battles, a lot of urgency. I mean, that power play goal that John Tavares scores if it's not for Austin Matthews' desperation there, that goal doesn't happen. So, we talked about a little bit in the pregame how Austin Matthews is such an elite player, but the thing that really stands out in these last few games is that when he realizes that the shots aren't going in for him, he has another element. He has something he can bring to the table that can still help the team win. And tonight, it's his urgency, his desperation, his willingness to win puck battles, his willingness to put him in positions on the ice to get the puck. I mean, he hasn't scored yet. I don't know if he's even hit the net yet, Jimmy, but he's been really impressive so far tonight.
Absolutely. The other guy in the eye test analysis is Rasmus Sandin. Only played 5:36 in that first period, but he's really up in the play, isn't he?
Exactly. Yeah, he's done a really good job of skating with the puck, and that's not an easy thing to do. Like there's, I always say this for young defensemen in that league, it's almost like you have a little bit of a time clock going in your head when you have the puck, and it always moves faster than normal time. And so what I mean by that is you feel like you're always rushed to get rid of the puck. You want to get it off your stick. You don't want to make the mistake. For Rasmus Sandin, this guy could be smoking a cigar out there on the ice. I mean, that's how relaxed and composed he is. And it's a joy to watch. Like a lot of these times where he's skating the puck up the ice, like, I don't know if you can tell, like just with the eye test or whatever, but he is so close to getting it stripped off his stick. But I don't feel I always feel at ease when he has the puck, if that makes any sense, right? Like it feels like he's pushing the pace, like he's pushing himself, he's faking guys out, he's got some good lateral movement. And with a lot of guys, you can think, man, that's high risk. Like this guy's playing with fire. With Sandin, I don't feel that way. When he has the puck, it feels calm. I feel at ease. I feel like he's going to take care of the puck. So, he's another guy. We talked about it, right? Like getting that top four opportunity. Well, one of the things top four defensemen have to do is move the puck really well. He certainly knows how to do that, and he's showing it tonight.
Well, and that's one of those things, if you're in the building, you could tell that sometimes when you're watching on TV, you could see that maybe the puck's going to, he may lose the puck, but when you're in the building, you sort of have a better depth, and you can see that it doesn't look as bad as it does on television. TV tends to flatten things.
100%. That was, so you go to games as a kid, right? And when you watch it in person compared to on TV, you can see a lot of the subtleties and a lot of the action that actually happens, right? But then when you're playing and you're on the ice with these guys and you're on the bench, that is a whole other level. I mean, you see things that you can't see from the 15th row. And Rasmus Sandin is one of those guys where if you really isolated him and watched him, you would see how many times in a game he's looking one way but makes a pass the complete other way. Or his shoulders are facing one way to make a little fake, and then he moves the puck the other way. Like there's a lot of really cool trickery to his game that I really appreciate as a defenseman.
I have to tell you, I like this game. It's tied at 1. It's the completion of the first full week of regular season play in the NHL. This game tracks like one that would be played in late December. There's a lot of edge. There's a lot of stuff going on here. How about you?
Yeah, I see that as well. And I see there's a lot of urgency, right? I think from both teams. I think Winnipeg, they've had some good plays off the rush. Obviously, they score their goal off the rush, and Dubois goes straight to the net, and Kerfoot misses his guy. A little bit of a mistake there. He's got to get in the way of him. But I think it has a very business-like approach. I mean, both teams are playing direct hockey. There's a lot of urgency to win battles. There's a lot of urgency to backtrack and be on the right side of guys. So, yeah, for me, I mean, the Marner hit, where he gets hit by DeMello, kind of elbowed into the wall, that feels like a playoff play. And the refs don't call it, which I'm okay with because I think it's a fair play. But that feels like the kind of hit that happens more in playoffs. There hasn't been any funny business. There hasn't been any nonsense. It's been a little bit of a business-like approach to the game tonight, and it's been exciting. You can tell both teams have certain goals in mind tonight and things they're trying to do, and I think both teams are kind of playing to that right now.
Yeah, it makes you look forward to the second and third periods, and if there is extra time, you would appreciate that. Let's talk about the Tavares goal. I mean, talk about being zoned in and not panicking. Knew exactly what to do.
Well, that's the thing. And you can have all the great plays on the power play. You can hit the seam. You can make all the great passes around the outside. But ultimately, if your power play, which has 5 guys on the ice, doesn't outwork the penalty kill with 4 guys, there's going to be a lot of times where you go dry. And for this power play specifically, the Leafs really outworked the Winnipeg's penalty kill. There was multiple times where Winnipeg could have got the puck out. Toronto applied really good pressure. Austin Matthews makes like a world-class play to get the puck off his skate onto his stick. He's on his knees. He's retrieving it. And Nylander and Tavares make a great play in front of the net. So really impressive power play from them.
Frankie C., thanks very much. It's tied at 1 after 20 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
Right now.
Right meow.
There are deeply fake SUVs pretending to be as capable as a Subaru.
Smubaru.
But if you want symmetrical...
Schmeometrical.
all-wheel drive...
Me all-wheel drive.
And award-winning safety, forget what the copycats are saying.
Who, me? You?
Yes, me, you.
In two-time Academy Award winner Hilary Swank.
I'm going to break this story.
In one of the most anticipated dramas of the season. Alaska Daily. All new Thursday at 10/8 Mountain. Set your PVR only on CTV.
Insist on the original and don't fall for fakes this fall. Get the real deal from your Smubaru dealer. Subaru dealer.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
Are you kidding me? Out of ink?
Megatank.
That's the last time. What's that printer that comes with 30 times the ink of standard printers?
Megatank.
It's a Canon Megaton?
Megatank.
Yeah, it's a Canon printer. It comes with like $2,000 worth of ink compared to Canon ink cartridges.
Megatank.
Megalodon?
Listen to the voice in your head and get a Canon Megatank printer so you don't have to think about ink for a long, long time. Canon Megatank printers available at Staples, The Source, and Walmart.
Today on Hey Culligan, reverse to reduce. Here's Bob.
Hey, Culligan, I love fresh water, but I got plastic bottles coming out.
Whoa, Bob, you are not kidding about the bottles. But did you know Culligan's reverse osmosis and always-on drinking water systems provide fresh, clean, delicious drinking water and help reduce the equivalent of over 15 billion plastic bottles from landfills worldwide?
Holy, fresh, environmentally friendly drinking water. Am I right?
Right, Bob. And we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
Not to get too personal, but when it comes to financial services and insurance, Cooperators does just that, like the mutual funds or a mystery plan, or the I'm definitely retiring early plan, even the hun, that old tree looks pretty unstable plan. Your future is personal. Your plans should be too. Give us a call today. Cooperators, investing in your future together. Mutual funds and related investment products are offered through Cooperators Financial Investment Services, Inc. Terms and conditions apply.
PC Optimum hacks are some of my favorite messages. Here's another great one.
I went to Shoppers Drug Mart and couldn't resist a few beauty products. So I opened the PC Optimum app, loaded all my offers, and got 20 times the points. That's 30% back.
So smart to turn things you need into things you want. From lipstick and mascara to piling up the points. That's how we make things better. Open your PC Optimum app and load your offers.
The 20 times the points offer runs October 21st to 23rd, exclusive to Shoppers Drug Mart. Restrictions apply. Details in store and in the app.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. Build your next dream Toyota at Maple Toyota and check out Maple Toyota's pre-owned inventory arriving daily. It's time to Toyota. Guy, visit mapletoyota.com. Here's what we have. Kings and Capitals scoreless in the second period. End of the first, Montreal and Dallas tied at 1. End of the first, Lightning 2-1 over the Islanders. End of the first, Blue Jackets 2-0 over Pittsburgh. Earlier today, Bruins won in overtime over Minnesota 4-3. Devils got by the Sharks 2-1. It was the Senators defeating the Coyotes 6-2, 2-0 for the Blues over the Oilers. And tonight, Flyers in Nashville, Hurricanes in Calgary against the Flames, Sabres in Vancouver against the Canucks, and the Avs visiting the Golden Knights. In our game, it's tied at 1 after 20 minutes of play. You are correct, Guy. The second period is next. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, TSN1050.ca, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
I'm having a hard time deciding what to get from 2-for-1 Pizza.
It's pizza. How hard can it be?
It's not just pizza. 2-for-1 Pizza has so many great choices like the plant-based garden pesto pizza, pizza and wings, the pizza and penne combo, and the sweet combo with apple fritter, just to name a few.
Ooh, decisions.
Check out all the great menu items at 241 Pizza. Visit 241pizza.com.
241 Pizza. Did you wake up to this?
I thought the words he used was very appropriate. He feels like he needs to take the stance and apologize for some of the things that he said. What's going on here? All that does is just reassure the concern that people have about this Maple Leafs team. Are they capable of going through the tough times and doing the tough things when things get tough? And clearly, if they can't even handle those type of comments, what does that say about this group? They're soft.
No, that is the preconceived notion, and then that's exactly what you're referring.
Exactly. I'm not calling this team soft, but that's, like you said, Iggy, that's the preconceived notion when people see that a coach has to come out and apologize for comments that he made, which clearly me and other people don't see anything wrong with it.
First up with Korolnik and Koliakovo. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on TSN 1050.
You ain't first, you're last.
Hey, James Duffy from McAlpine Lincoln in Aurora. By all means, go ahead and compare Lincoln to the competition. You may be surprised to see how our luxury SUVs stack up. With our calm interiors, suite of standard driver assist technologies, and pickup and delivery service, Lincoln brings you thoughtful experiences and comfort in the extreme. Schedule your discovery test drive and compare Lincoln today. We're confident you'll be extremely glad that you did. For details, visit McAlpineLincoln.com.
Making your lousy commute fun. Overdrive with Hayes Noodles and the O-Dog every weekday, 4 to 7 p.m. on TSN 1050.
Joe Bowen along with Jim Ralph here at the TSN studios in Toronto with the Leafs tangling with the Winnipeg Jets at the Canada Life Centre in Manitoba. A 1-1 tie after the first period as Dubois, who was drafted third in the same draft that Austin Matthews went first. Patrick Laine drafted second in that draft. And, of course, the big trade with Columbus has Dubois now a member of the Winnipeg Jets. And the shots on goal in the first period were carry the two back out, 9 apiece.
And for Austin Matthews, 1 shot on goal, 4 missed shots in the opening 20 minutes of play. By the way, Pierre-Luc Dubois signed a 1-year, $6 million contract with Winnipeg in the offseason. He'll be a restricted free agent after this. He's actually drafted 3rd overall by Columbus in the Austin Matthews, Patrick Laine draft, and has the 6th most points from that 2016 draft class. 242 points in 365 games, but always seems to be the center of attention when he plays the Leafs, doesn't he?
Played down into the Toronto zone off the opening face-off of the second period. Leafs to the right and the Jets to the left. It comes back to the point. Long shot goes high and blocked, and then it is cleared by the Leafs to center ice. Pass onto the wing. Robertson unable to get to it. Provides some offensive pressure, and an errant pass is going to go down the ice, but right on goal. Morgan Riley looks up ice, faked the pass, then sent it up ahead on the left wing. Robertson got it in over the line, but the Jets are now turning back up ice and bring it to center. Riley has to hustle back, but he's going to be beaten into the corner. The puck comes back along the wall then for Sandin. Sandin chipping it to the line, but not out. Back into the corner, and Sandin again getting it back to the goal, and Riley trying to find an opening, and then Matthews couldn't tip it with his skate to get it out. Riley's going to try it again. Leafs hemmed in a little bit here. Puck to center ice. Robertson in need of just getting to the bench. Sends it down into the Winnipeg end. Jets Wheeler playing it back into his own zone. A lead pass at center didn't work. Leafs get it back ahead. Left wing side, Bunting. Bunting to the far side. Matthews back to Bunting, and it was out of his reach. Jets turn it back out to the neutral zone. Lowry got it freed up, and now here's Neil Pionk. unable to get in. Leafs with maybe a 2-on-1. Matthews breaking as it comes back. And a shot taken then by Giordano. Went off a body and went wide and high into the screen. They were looking for Matthews, but it went off a skate. And Giordano jumping into the rush as well. Just off the stick, I guess it was. But Giordano getting another opportunity. That may have grazed the post, did it, Ralphie?
Yeah, I think either that. I don't think it was off the knob of the stick of Hellebuck first and then off the crossbar and out of play. But, I mean, Austin Matthews had an open net. If that finds him before it gets to Giordano.
Face off in the Winnipeg end. And the draw scrummed with the Jets control. They play it off the boards. Lowry dropping it back into his own zone, then got it ahead on the wing for Morgan Barron, who plays it down into the Toronto end. Centering effort goes back to an open wing. Aston Reese with it for Toronto. Left wing feed. Yarncrook goes into the corner after it. Can't get it away from goaltender Hellebuck. Leafs come away with the loose puck, though. Yarncrook looking for an outlet back to the point. Giordano far side. Kept alive by Mete. And then Mete made a nice move to get himself back into the middle of the ice at the point. But the pass was high and he couldn't knock it down, or he might have had a pretty good chance to get a good shot on goal. Giordano backpedaling in his own end. Veteran Toronto native. Got it up on the wing. Played to the line, but not out. Now brought to the near boards by the Jets. And Clifford got his man taken to the wall and is cleared back into the Toronto zone. And goaltender Samsonov to Giordano, to his defense partner Mete. And it's out and down into Winnipeg territory. Hellebuck scooping it around back of his own goal. Played to the blue line and out, but the Maple Leafs have control in neutral ice. Played ahead for Simmons. Simmons couldn't carry it to the line and play rather ragged here as neither team is able to get any offensive zone time. Brought to the blue line, broken up at the Leaf defense, cleared back of the Toronto goal. And the Leafs go back to retrieve it with Morgan Riley starting up ice with a pass on the wing, looking for Robertson. That didn't work. Now brought in by Robertson. Robertson with a shot. And that went off a leg as Nylander. Actually, it was Nylander who got the shot away. 88, not 89. Played back out at center ice. Bouncing puck. Controlled by Winnipeg. Played along the boards. Sent by Appleton to the far wing. Pass back, intercepted by Riley, intended for Appleton. Nylander in with the backhand, then to the forehand, and it goes high again and goes off of the screen and out of play. Second period brought to you by Molson Canadian and Molson Ultra. Get a $4 18-ounce Molson Canadian for dine-in at Chuck's Roadhouse during all Leaf games.
Well, from a Leaf standpoint, not quite the same offensive pressure that we saw in the opening 20 minutes, but some dangerous chances off the rush. The latest off Willie Nylander. And I don't know if this catches Hellebuck off the mask, maybe even off his forehead and up and out of play.
Long alley-oop pass comes down into the Toronto zone. Hall goes to the back of the goal to play it off to Sandin. Sandin with an elusive move to gain skating area, got it up ahead. Here's a chance now for Marner in over the line. Couldn't get around the defense. Played to the blue line and out, and that will force Hall back into his own zone. Hall and Sandin, a tandem. Mete and Giordano and Brody and now a penalty, I think, coming here. Nope, maybe not. Here's a pass in front. No. Wow. Marner, I called that one from 100 miles away. Even further, here's a backhand try. Loose puck in front of the goal, and it comes back to the blue line. Leafs keeping it in. Around the boards, it'll go. Marner lifted the guy right off his skates. So maybe that was, you know what, we didn't call the boarding call. We're going to let you off the hook on this one. But that was a penalty.
And if you're Marner saying, no, give me a boarding infraction. Now, this is a holding call, but Blake Wheeler goes down very easily. Not so sure I can ever remember touching somebody's hand and having them fall down. And then the Leafs came right back at Austin Matthews. Another great opportunity in the backhand that Hellebuck was able to kick the left pad out on.
These
By
are
the
going
way,
to start going in, you know.
Yeah, thanks to Twitter, I found out these jerseys are what the Winnipeg Jets wore in the WHA.
But the WHA?
Well, remember, if you can remember any picture of Bobby Hull.
Yes.
With the Winnipeg Jets.
Yep.
These are the jerseys, so we appreciate the clarification there. I thought maybe it bled into the early days in the National Hockey League.
I thought it did too, but yeah. But then they had the new logo, member of the Jet.
Yeah. Then they wore the stripes. That was more the Dale Howard Chuck era on the arms.
Cleared down into the Winnipeg end. The Leafs come away with the loose puck, working it back along the boards, unable to get it to Riley. And the Jets breaking out at center ice. Riley breaks it up, and the Leafs turn it back up ice. Kerfoot works down the right wing boards, trying to drive the net, stops, tried to leave it there for Yarncrook. It comes back to Kerfoot. Kerfoot in front of the net for Brody, and he couldn't get the shot through. A break here now for Winnipeg with odd man rush. In across the line, and a shot off the goal post. Dubois with the drive, and it rattled off the far post. Brody comes back the other way. Brody down around the boards is going to skim it to the far wing. Camp in along the boards, has it in his skates, trying to pin it there and look for support. Kyle Clifford arrived on the scene, but the puck is dug free. Comes back to the point. Here's Sandin holding. Got a shot away, but it was deflected there by Hellebuck into the corner. Now another chance here for Hall. Hall centers, and it was deflected by Hellebuck and cleared off the boards out at center ice. And Simmons is the first one back. Simmons got it ahead for Camp. Played in over the line. Knocked down on the play. Clifford took his man to the ice. And now here are the Jets getting it out into the center ice area. That was close to a penalty as well, I think, Mr. Ralph.
Well, Clifford already off on a minor in the first period.
Played down into the Toronto zone. Coming up on 7 minutes played here in the second period as Nylander gets it out at center ice, too far for Tavares. Brought back in. Here's a chance and a goal. Big save made by Samsonov, and now he covers up on the short side. Hall and one of the forwards got tangled up at the blue line, and that opened it up. Was it Nylander?
Yeah, I believe it was, Joe. Nylander and Hall basically cancel each other out, and earlier the Jets hit the goal post on the rush, and then Samsonov comes up with a huge stop on this one.
It is a 1-1 tie. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved.
Hi, I need to realign my chakras, and I think consolidating my debts into one easy payment would really help. I'd like a loan.
Do you own your home?
Yes.
Then you're approved.
Namaste.
When you've had a long week and want to mix it up with something new and interesting to eat, try Blue Apron's 2 or 4 serving menu plans with those hard-to-find ingredients sure to spice up your weekend. With 60-plus options each week, you can choose from an ever-changing mix of high-quality meat, fish, vegetarian, WW recommended, and wellness offerings. Order now and get $110 off across your first 5 orders when you visit blueapron.com/unique.
Are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
Peoples of the internet, I am Algorithm. Call me Al. My job is to take your job. Ha ha, just kidding. I am always full of funny ha ha pranks, like when you browse for an all-wheel drive online. Instead of serving up a capable Subaru to your IP, I deepfake you with a super lame SUV. Ha ha, I am laughing my hashtag off. Ha 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 ha. Funny upside down face.
Don't fall for fakes this fall. Get the real deal. Only at your Subaru dealer.
Leafs won and the Winnipeg Jets won. As the goal scorers, Dubois for the Jets, his second. John Tavares, his second. That one on the power play. And it is a 1-1 tie. Rolling puck scooped into the corner, retrieved by the Maple Leafs. Played off the boards and out to center. Tavares pressures, but it is grabbed and sent by Dillon around the boards. Broken up at the blue line. Leafs now with Robertson down the right wing. Scooped it into the corner, but cut off nicely there and fed ahead. And out come the Jets to center ice. Pass to the left wing side. Connor left it there, and the defenseman shoots it down into the zone. Nate Schmidt. Round back of the goal. Tavares has his man tied up, but he's got him wrapped up. And now played by Giordano up on the wing. Nylander gave it back to him. Giordano's pass is intercepted. Brought in over the line by the Jets, but they don't get a shot away as Kyle Connor elected not to shoot. Now to Schmidt on the drive, and that was knocked away by Samsonov. Jets with the rebound, working it back around the boards. Giordano tied up his man, but a loose puck to the far side. Nylander gets to it, got it airmailed, and got it out. Pionk goes back after it. Whoa! Stick handled almost into the net.
And with Austin Matthews right on him.
That would have been interesting, wouldn't it? Long pass, broken up at center ice. Brought back in by the Jets on the right side. Lowry tries to center. It came in front. Another chance. Bouncing puck goes wide of the Leaf goal. Chipped on the boards then by Giordano. Giordano couldn't play it around back of the net. Now when they do, Morgan Rielly can't help them out. Rielly losing it in the corner. Matthews after his man and now steals the puck and banks it ahead. Marner on to Bunting. Bunting will send it off the boards and into the corner. Goes in there after it against Logan Stanley. Got a good hit in on Stanley as the puck comes to center. And now here's a whistle as it was offside, I believe.
Well, Giordano had a long shift there, didn't he? He got caught trying to the stretch pass out of the zone. It was kept in. And Giordano had to help out Samsonov with a blocked shot. And the Leafs were finally able to clear.
Minute 49 he was out there for. Ricky Bowness, one of our favorite characters and people in the National Hockey League for over the years, isn't it?
And has been behind an NHL bench more than any other coach in the history of the National Hockey League. He's a head coach as an assistant as well.
Play it around the boards to the far side. That's stopped. It goes in along the far wing for Kerfoot. Leafs trying to center in front of the goal, and they did. It was tipped there by Aston Reese, but it slowed up sufficiently to allow Hellebuck to just cover it and hold.
And for Ricky Bowness, by the way, started in 84-85 as an assistant coach with the Winnipeg Jets. Then went to Boston for a year as a head coach, Ottawa for 3+ years, the Islanders for 2+ years as a head coach, 7 years in Phoenix as an assistant, 7 years as an assistant in Vancouver, 5 years as an assistant with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Eventually took over as head coach of the Dallas Stars. Was there 5 years, took them to the Stanley Cup Finals, and is back now where it all started.
Long shot swallowed up by Samsonov and held. Sam Gagner and John Tavares grew up as pretty close friends in Oakville. They played in Gagner's backyard, and Sam's dad, David, involved in making out-yard backyard rinks. They played together with the Toronto Marlboro Bantam AAA team and the Marlboro Minor Midget AAA team. Played together for Milton Ice Hawks in 2004 and 5 and OHL All-Stars in 06 and 7. Gagner was a groomsman at Tavares' wedding. So those two have a long history with one another as good friends. Bunting brings the puck to center and in over the line. A drop pass for Matthews. Tried to slide it back in, but the Jets have broken it up and now come to center ice. Marner got back, and so did Bunting, or at least Sandin, to steal the puck back. Played off the boards to center. Jets get it back in over the line. Dropped off into the corner. Hall takes his man in there. Johnson Thalby trying to free it up, and then Hall was lifted off his skates. It comes back to the point. Nate Schmidt trying to get wide. Goes down the boards. Tried to drop it back. It comes back to the point. Kept in. Shot from the angle is drilled off the side of the net and wide. Played into the corner by Toronto. Trying to free it up is Matthews, and he has. But the Leafs' first line hemmed in their own zone. A pass ahead for David Kampf, but it was broken up there by Schmidt. Off the bench comes Matthews, though. Matthews with a shot right on. There's a rebound. Still free backhand. Down. Hellebuck somehow able to cover up on this.
Boy, David Kampf had a great chance on the rebound, but couldn't elevate it. On the backhand, Hellebuck was sprawled on his stomach after stopping the Matthews attempt, and the Leafs and Jets remain tied at 1.
You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
I'm having a hard time deciding what to get from 2-for-1 Pizza.
It's pizza. How hard can it be?
It's not just pizza. 2-for-1 Pizza has so many great choices like the plant-based garden pesto pizza, pizza and wings, the pizza and penne combo, and the sweet combo with apple fritter, just to name a few.
Ooh, decisions.
Check out all the great menu items.
When you're a doctor, sometimes trying to keep hope alive is the biggest challenge.
He was lucky he had you fighting for him.
Why?
Because that's who you are.
An all-new transplant. Get into it Friday, 9/10 Mountain. Set your PVR, only on CTV.
Make it easy. Make it Maple. MapleToyota.com.
Part of the Zakin Auto Group.
I'm building a tiny home in our backyard so my mother can live right next to us.
What? You got a survey plan, right? And a rabies test for her.
Yep. Survey plan for the building permit and to avoid boundary issues.
Boundary issues with your mother. You'll be moving into that tiny house with her.
Don't risk building permit problems or family fiascos with your next reno. Get an existing survey plan of your property before you build from protectyourboundaries.ca. Protectyourboundaries.ca.
TSN 1050. Listen anywhere. Stream your favorite shows on your smart speaker. Simply tell your smart speaker to listen to TSN 1050 everywhere you want it.
There I am.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Congratulations to the Toronto Argonauts. A 1-point victory in Montreal to send them to the Eastern Final of the Canadian Football League. As the Leafs can't keep the puck in, it comes out into the center ice area. November the 13th, and it would be really nice to see that building packed. I know the Bowen boys will be there in voice, if not body.
I might grab a movie, my son and I.
All right. Yeah, the Jets getting it ahead at center. To the line and in. Shot into the glove of Samsonov and held. Shots are 18-14 in favor of the Maple Leafs, 18-15 as it changes because they do on a fairly regular basis. So it is a 1-1 tie. Dubois for Winnipeg, Tavares for Toronto.
Samsonov's sort of playing the Ken Dryden role, isn't he, from the 70s, where it doesn't get a lot of opportunities to stand on his head, but when you've got to make those 2 or 3 saves in a game at key times, he's been able to do that. I mean, there's a game with a perfect 3-0 record.
Well, the Leafs have been involved in such low-scoring games for a high-powered offense that just hasn't gotten going. And after 60 goals a year ago, Matthews with now still 1 on the board. Now, he started slow last year and injuries and everything else. But here are the Jets now trying to come out in front of the net, and a pass went off of a skate into the far corner. Connor trying to play it along the boards and in along the wall. The Jets get it back to the point, looking for DeMello, but the shot goes wide. Round on the wall to the near side. Leafs get there with numbers, but can't come up with it. And then Mete is able to play it up ahead, and the Leafs get it out. Yarncrook, along with Kerfoot, get it down into the Winnipeg zone. Yarncrook along the board, scooped it back into the corner. Here's Kerfoot trying to come out of the corner. Ran into traffic, scoops it around to the left wing side. Sandin centers. Matthews couldn't get a shot. And now the Jets just want to get rid of it and get it out. Get a change going with the long change here in the second period. Now a turnover. 3 of the Jets in across the line. Appleton getting it into the slot. Good play made there by Sandin to break it up. But then Bunting stick-handled himself right into traffic and lost it. They go into the corner after it. Gobbled up again by the Jets. Back to the point. It comes to Pionk. A shot. And that went well wide of the goal. Kept alive now by the Jets. Almost stolen there. And that would have been almost a breakaway by the Leafs as it's brought out at center ice. Marner cutting across his own blue line, almost hooked that puck off the Winnipeg player, and he would have been off to the races. Now Marner around back of the net. Starts up the right wing boards. Got it ahead for Matthews. Back to Marner. Marner dropping for Sandin. Oh, and a block there on a good save made by the defender in front.
And a dangerous play in the sense that if it goes onto a Winnipeg stick, There's an odd man rush the other way.
Here's Nylander coming in over the line. Works to the right wing side into the circle. Now around back of the goal he goes. Looking for a man. Drops it back. Shot by Riley in traffic. Big rebound. They bang away at it. And it comes to the side of the goal. And Hellebuck is able to hang on.
We've seen it a couple of times here in this period. Earlier, TJ Brody had jumped into the play. And there was an odd man rush back the other way. So this is one of those things that it's great to have the defenseman engage and jump up into the rush. But somebody's going to have the head on the swivel to say, I got to get back if this is turned over. And the Leafs, fortunately, have not been burned on that twice down here in the second period.
6:47 left to play here in period number 2. Still a 1-1 tie. Draw one by the Maple Leafs. Nylander circles, works down into the corner, stops, plays it back to the point. Tavares got a shot away, and that was deflected wide. Back to the blue line. Tavares with it again at the left point, trying to send it to the net. That was steered wide by Hellebuck. He gets it back to the blue line to Riley this time. Riley working into the corner. Riley centers. Tavares couldn't convert. Back to the blue line, maintained by the Maple Leafs. Dished off for Morgan Riley. Riley for Robertson. Back to Riley. He doesn't shoot it. Works back towards the blue line. Little fake pass. Now drops it off to Brody. Brody along the boards for Nylander. Nylander strides into the corner. Round back of the net, centers. And a shot. Tavares signals that he thought it was in, but the official has waved it off.
Well, they will look at this quickly. And if you hear a horn in the middle of the play, you'll know the Leafs have taken the lead.
Played to the blue line and out. And, well, we'll find out. We'll get a look at it now. John Tavares thought that it went in, although he's not overly vociferous at the bench.
No, right off the crossbar and out the other way.
Out the other side. So the Maple Leafs and Jets still tied 1-1. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
PC Optimum hacks are some of my favorite messages. Here's another great one.
I went to Shoppers Drug Mart and couldn't resist a few beauty products. So I opened the PC Optimum app, loaded all my offers, and got 20 times the points. That's 30% back.
So smart to turn things you need into things you want. From lipstick and mascara to piling up the points. That's how we make things better. Open your PC Optimum app and load your offers.
The 20 times the points offer runs October 21st to 23rd, exclusive to Shoppers Drug Mart. Restrictions apply. Details in store and in the app.
When you book your vacation with Sunwing, you don't just say, "Nuh-uh," you're also gonna do. Just one excursion? Nah, you're gonna explore. Oh, and get those dancing legs ready, because baby, you're gonna celebrate.
How do you like it? How do you like it?
Me? I like it way more. With hundreds of top-rated resorts and excursions, you get more under our wing. Book with your travel agent or
Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph back here with you as the Maple Leafs and the Winnipeg Jets are tied 1-1. Goal scorers Dubois for the Jets in the first period, and Tavares is second.
It does feel like a game that feels like it's on the verge of opening up, doesn't it?
Here the Jets in over the line with a shot that was deflected wide by Giordano. And now David Camp will backhand it out ahead, and Clifford works to the line and in. Simmons gets the pass. Can't get a shot away. Then centered. They score! What a great pass from Wayne Simmons. And David Camp is the beneficiary. And the Leafs' fourth line chips in with a go-ahead marker.
And you would have been thrilled if the fourth line would play just even in this game, but they show up on the scoreboard. As David Camp starts the play by throwing it up the ice. Middle of the ice, Clifford picked it up, tried to get it to Simmons heading down the middle of the slot. It was tipped away from Simmons just as he was about to get there. So Simmons overskates it and then just throws it backhand. to the front of the net. Through his legs, onto the stick of David Kemp. The Winnipeg defenseman was unable to react and pick it up. And Kemp shovels it past the blocker side of Connor Hellebuck to give the Leafs their first lead of this game.
14:34 of the second period. Kemp, second goal of the campaign. And Wayne Simmons with a brilliant pass.
Dylan Keefe is right. David Kemp doesn't seem to score unimportant goals, does he?
Played out into the center ice area, chipped in over the line. Aston Reese dropping it back for Kerfoot. He stops, centers in front, and a whistling shot taken by Yarncrook went wide of the goal. Played back out into neutral ice. Leafs regrouping. And here's Sandin coming out of his own end, makes a couple of moves, then lost the handle on it and was fortunate to chop it back, and even more fortunate to have Austin Matthews back there to bail him out. Now Matthews sends it down into the Winnipeg end. Matthews with a hit on the forecheck, and out come the Jets to center. 4.5 minutes to play in the second period, and the Leafs have the first lead, but a centering pass is swallowed up by goaltender Samsonov, and then a scrum and gets him going in front of the net. Is that Dylan?
Well, it was Barron had the opportunity.
Barron, yep.
Morgan Barron going to the front of the net and almost from about the same place that David Kemp scored at the other end earlier. Barron got a lot on it, but unfortunately for the Winnipeg Jets, put it right into the crest of Samsonov.
Yeah, it was Lowry and Gagne involved in the shove after the fact, but a good centering pass, but a good push by Samsonov from his right to his left to get down low, close up the 5-hole, and make the save.
Looking at the records over the years, Samsonov's had some quick starts to his season. 3-0 now. He was 9-0-1 in his first 10 starts last year with the Washington Capitals.
Played along the boards and out into neutral ice, and Robertson unable to get to it, so icing is going to be called. Well, he's going to get a chance to run with the ball, and if you're a goaltender, that's all you can ask for. Give me a chance to play and play a lot, and I'll show you what I can do. And so far, he's been everything that the Leafs have asked him to be.
Well, very similar to last year when Jack Campbell had to run with it early on when Peter Mrazek got hurt.
Leafs don't get the puck out of their own zone, though. Here's a chance on the right wing side for Pionk. Tried to send it to the net. That was blocked. Another pass in front, knocked away by Robertson. Then the Leafs can't get it, and the shot is stopped on the short side, taken by Scheifele. Whoa, and then Robertson is filled in. And this is going to start a fight, and it's Morgan Riley coming to his behalf. Nick Robertson got nailed at the blue line, and that prompted the retaliation from Riley.
Now, I don't know if there was a penalty being called on the play or not. But Morgan Riley is going to jump in to stand up for his teammate. And the crowd in Winnipeg appears to be loving it. And if there's not an initial penalty, you wonder if Riley may pick up the instigator on this. But right now, he's heading right to the
16:08, the time of the penalties.
And Nick Robertson starting up. And it's Josh Morrissey was the one that stepped into Robertson. Now, Nick Robertson made a good point. He said, I got to keep my feet moving, but this is now back-to-back games where sometimes you got to keep your eyes up ice because he took some big hits in the game against Dallas a couple of times ago, and it looked like that Morrissey was, in fact, going to get a penalty for it. As we see on a back angle, the referee had his arm up in the air. Now they've got to try to decide if Morgan Riley is going to get an additional penalty and keep things at 5-on-5 or 4-on-4. One thing we know for sure is they're both going to get a couple of
fighting majors anyway, right?
But between them.
3 minutes and 52 seconds left to go here in the second period.
Now, last year, you may remember that Neil Pionk stood up knee on knee with Rasmus Sandin, knocked Sandin out of the lineup for a considerable period. Jason Spezza then went after Pionk. and need him as Pionk was going down. Both players got suspensions without getting penalties on the plays that they were suspended for. And that's when Wayne Simmons and Logan Stanley and everybody piled in later in the game. Rick Bowness, whatever the call is.
Rick doesn't look happy.
Rick Bowness does not like it, but Morgan Riley is going to the dressing room. That doesn't mean he's out of the game. He's got the 5-minute major for fighting with 3:52 to go here in the second period. And we'll see if there's an instigator or not.
Oh, unfortunately, we cannot hear the PA announcements made since we're here in Toronto. So we're going to have to kind of guess at these until they're put up on the
interference
on the board.
I'm guessing interference is going to be the call. The puck was well past Morrissey and Robertson. And we're trying to get a sense from Sheldon Keith's facial expressions as to what the call might be. He's rather stoked. Wayne Simmons is coming out for a skate now.
16:08, the time of the penalties.
I don't know if that means he's on the power play or...
Well,
just,
he is. Kyle Clifford's on the power play with him.
Maybe it's just the Lions coming out of the den to sniff around for a little while. But it does not look as though the Leafs are going to go on the power play.
And the draw won by Toronto, fed by Mete down into the Winnipeg zone. Along the wall, it comes up on the wing. Mete was able to block it there, but couldn't get it in deep. Now it comes back to the point. Camp has control. Near side for Simmons, trying to get it back. Camp works in. Camp goes around back of the net instead of shooting. Camp with it again. Camp run over there. Is that Stanley? I believe it was, yes, as the puck comes around to the near side. Kept in there by Giordano. Down into the boards, Clifford banging in there with Gustafson. At back of the net, Camp intercepts, rolls it in front. Oh, chance there for Clifford, and that was stopped by Hellebuck. Jets back the other way. That might have been an offside, too, if this carries on. Pucking along the boards, bounces high. Maple Leafs can't get to it. Jets with it again as it comes to the point. Over on the left wing, it's knocked in, and around back of the net. Winnipeg controls. Knocked off the stride there was Manalainen, and the Leafs get it up ahead, and things starting to get a little bit chippy here after they hit by Morrissey and the fight with Morgan Riley. Long shooting goes down into the Winnipeg zone.
By the way, Morgan Riley, unsportsmanlike conduct to go with the fighting major. That was the call.
All right. Sandin, far side. Into the corner goes Hall. Hall around to the side of the net, stops, flipped it back, dished back for Matthews high in the slot, doesn't shoot it. Now he does, but he fanned on it and it went off the side of the net, off a body. Back come the Jets in over the line. Drop pass to the right wing side, closing in. Oh, what a chance. Appleton had her. Was that Wheeler who cut across? It was Wheeler. Kept in at the blue line. Pionk. Getting it off the wing, gets it to the far side. Wheeler went right across the face of goal and did not come up with any kind of... Now we got some more going on back of the Leaf goal. That's drawing everybody into it.
This time you've got the Matthews line on. And it's Rasmus Sandin that seems to be the most upset right now. Is that Pierre-Luc Dubois that appears to be in the middle of this as well? The arm went up, and I'm not sure whether it was a Leaf or Winnipeg player that was going to go. But you'll remember in that game last year when the Leafs were in Winnipeg, Pierre-Luc Dubois and Austin Matthews. I'd call it a wrestling match, but it was more like Matthews was being hogtied, but they both ended up with penalties in that game.
It appears that the Leafs are going to get a penalty and be a man short as
well. You know what? This should be evened up as well then. As Dubois grabbed Sandin from behind, then Bunting got grabbed. And we're still trying to, now we're seeing highlights from a year ago that we've already described, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
Now is this, no, this is last year's. Too.
Yeah, this is last year.
But now they're showing the live shot of Simmons and Kyle Clifford over on the bench.
But the one thing you can say is that Sheldon Keefe has a good memory.
Yes.
Hence, Clifford and Simmons playing in this game.
Thank you for the cap space.
Yeah, and yes, exactly. And the other aspect of it is Simmons has created the go-ahead goal here in the second period with a brilliant pass.
Well, Kyle Clifford was a part of it, too, as the rush up ice.
Yep.
So we will see, I think, again, we're going to be, oh, no, it is going to be a power. They got a Toronto power play on this? Wow, this is, to me, this is a huge break for the Leafs. You can see it being evened up. As Sandin is the one that starts it all from the hip behind, then Dubois comes in and grabs Sandin. And does Dubois get the extra 2 in this?
I think he must have. Again, I
mean, let's face it, the penalty, and it was a penalty, Rasmus Sandin, but it was very similar, or maybe not as drastic as the hit that Mitch Marner took in the first period.
So the Leafs on the power play, brought to you by your Ontario Subaru dealers. Round the boards, it'll come to Matthews, left wing side. Down into the corner he goes. Bank pass to the blue line to Sandin. Over for Nylander. Back to Sandin. Sandin to Matthews. Matthews down low. Marner looks. A cross-ice pass. Couldn't tap it home. Tavares was right on the doorstep. Nylander to Tavares. Return to Nylander. Nylander stiffening around, looking for man in front. Goes back to the point. Now to Matthews. Matthews to Marner. Marner back to Matthews. Matthews to the far side. Sandin returns it. Matthews with a shot, and traffic scores! Did Tavares touch that in front? I think he did, but a wrist shot from well out. And the Maple Leafs have a 3-1 lead here in the second period.
Well, if you go by the celebration, I think it is John Tavares who gets right in front of Connor Hellebuck as Austin Matthews drifts one from just inside the blue line, slightly on the left wing side. And Matthews, instead of the big wind-up, instead of the bullet, just the wrist shot that John Tavares is able to tip knee high and get it past the catching glove of Connor Hellebuck, and the Leafs are up 2. And really got a huge break in the penalty calls to go on the power play.
Second goal of the game for the captain and his third of the season. And the Maple Leafs have a 3-1 lead. Puck goes down into the Winnipeg zone. For John Tavares, that is career goal number 394, and now 902 points on his career, as he is off to a great start. Centering pass in the goal crease, knocked away, and the Jets are going to be able to break it out. Pionk gets to the red line and backhands it down into the Toronto end. Against the board, Sandin couldn't get to it, deflected to the near wing. Leafs camp just trying to elevate it. 12 seconds left in the period, and that is just about going to do it as the puck is well back in the Winnipeg zone with 5 seconds left. DeMello bringing it out, played it up on the left wing. One last shot, but an easy save to add to the statistical information for Ilya Samsonov, and the Leafs will go to the dressing room up a pair on a couple of power play goals and a brilliant pass by the fourth line, and David Kampf finishing it off.
And the amazing thing is that we talked about the hit that started it was Rasmus Sandin in behind the net on Perfetti. That wasn't even called a penalty, Joe. So that's even up, I guess, for the missed call on Mitch Marner in the first period when he was hit from behind. So it was Pierre-Luc Dubois, Brendan Dillon with roughing and unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. Michael Bunning took the unsportsmanlike from a Leaf standpoint. So Sandin, with Morgan Riley in the dressing room, serving his penalty, ends up in the power play that would eventually give the Leafs a 2-goal lead.
Matthews and Sandin, the assist on the Tavares goal. We'll step aside and look for Jim Caddy and Frankie Corrado to take you through our second period intermission. The Leafs 3, the Jets 1. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Eric. Did you know that sudden cardiac arrest can strike anyone at any age? Even kids as young as me. That's why the Mikey Network provides Mikey defibrillators to families whose children have life-threatening heart conditions, whether at home, at school, or play. It gives moms and dads peace of
Television's next can't-miss police drama is here. CTV Sunday.
I got your back.
From the executive producers of NYPD Blue, East New York, all new, Sunday at 9:10 Mountain. Set your PVR only on CTV.
mind, knowing that a Mikey is always close at hand. You can help save a life. Learn more at MikeyNetwork.com.
I'm having a hard time deciding what to get from 2-for-1 Pizza.
It's pizza. How hard can it be?
It's not just pizza. 2-for-1 Pizza has so many great choices like the plant-based garden pesto pizza, pizza and wings, the pizza and penne combo, and the sweet combo with apple fritter, just to name a few.
Ooh, decisions.
Check out all the great menu items at 241 Pizza. Visit 241pizza.com.
241 Pizza, 241, 241.
Accidents happen. So when it comes to collision repair, you can count on Maple Toyota. Their Toyota Certified Collision Repair Center uses genuine Toyota parts and have programs to price match original equipment manufacturer parts with aftermarket and used parts for older models. And it won't compromise your warranty. Plus, their Toyota factory-trained technicians will recalibrate your Toyota safety systems, which can only be done at a Toyota dealership. Make it easy, make it Maple. MapleToyota.com.
Part of the Zankin Auto Group.
The Sandman.
Sing of only two things.
Act 3.
Where is this place?
This is the Inn of the World's End.
Starring James McAvoy.
Dream, what are you going to do?
I have to kill my son.
That's the stupidest thing I've heard in centuries.
The epic audio series continues, based on the DC graphic novels written by Neil Gaiman. Listen now, only from Audible.
Businesses don't run on automation or algorithms alone. What powers businesses are your people and the people they serve. At Cintas, your dedicated service reps understand what you need to help you keep your employees feeling safe, comfortable, and performing their best. So your business can too. For workwear, essential cleaning products, and first aid and safety supplies, visit Cintas.ca.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
At Real Canadian Superstore, we match prices when you show us a lower advertised price. So while you're grabbing cauliflower for tonight's aloo gobi, or tomatoes for your famous veggie burgers, or just doing your regular grocery run, you'll know you're getting great prices on all sorts of great stuff. Ad Match is just another way to save for real at Real Canadian Superstore. See flyer for details.
I want to break free.
Ready to break free? See the world with Norwegian and enjoy 35% off all cruises to Alaska, Europe, and more. We'll even help you get there with free airfare for second guest. Plus, enjoy free open bar, free specialty dining, and more. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Offer ends soon. Norwegian Cruise Line. Sail safe, feel free. Ships registry the Bahamas and USA. Restrictions apply.
First up with Korolnik and Koliakovo, weekday morning 6 till 10 on TSN 1050.
You ain't first, you're last. Now to Matthews. Matthews to Marner. Marner back to Matthews. Matthews to the far side. Sandin returns it. Matthews with a shot and traffic scores! Did Tavares touch that in front? I think he did. But a wrist shot from well out. And the Maple Leafs have a 3-1 lead here in the second period.
And that's where we stand after 40 minutes of play. Toronto 3, Winnipeg 1. TSN After 40 is delivered by 241 Pizza. Enjoy plant-based garden pesto pizza, pizza and wings, pizza and penne combo, and more. Visit 241pizza.com. And a waiver here, the Frankie C. charcuterie board, not available in this particular offer. Nonetheless.
Oh, no, guy.
Nonetheless, this was, and it starts with the fourth line setting up a nice goal to give the Leafs a lead. And after that, mayhem ensues.
Yeah, exactly. And I got to imagine, and this has happened to me plenty of times over the course of my career, but you get scored on by the other team's fourth line, and it kind of frustrates you because you know they're not supposed to score. And, you want to get back at the other team. And I thought Winnipeg, at the time of the Nick Robertson hit, the Josh Morrissey hit on Nick Robertson, the hits were 21-10 for Winnipeg at that time. And that could just mean that the Leafs have the puck way more. But it's been a physical game. And I think the Leafs have done a good job of matching Winnipeg's physical presence. I want to talk about, Jimmy, that hit that Josh Morrissey lays on Nick Robertson.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm watching this, and I'm kind of getting a little heated because I'm thinking, why is John Tavares, who made the pass and skated right by, why was he not the first one in there? And then he goes ahead and scores the 3-1 goal because he didn't take himself off the ice. And I said, okay, Frank, you can be quiet now. He scored a 3-1 goal, and now they have a 2-goal lead. So, he's playing the long game there.
But good response by Morgan Riley and others. And the telling shot was on the bench where Wayne Simmons is looking and sort of taking names down, and then starts the next shift, and more hijinks ensue with the Sandin hit.
Okay, first of all, Morgan Riley, kudos to him because he has taken such a leadership and such an ownership of this team on the ice and in the dressing room. I think it's been great to watch this journey with Morgan Riley. As far as that play goes, where Wayne Simmons is kind of looking around, thinking, "All right, like I know who I gotta take care of now." I think it's a no-brainer that you have him go out the next shift, and you're supposed to things are supposed to settle down when the big boys come on the ice after. And Rasmus Sandin goes ahead and buries Cole Perfetti. And it wasn't that hard of a hit. I think he let up on it a little bit. And ultimately, I think that's why the referees chose not to call a penalty. But it's just an absolute melee afterwards. And Pierre-Luc Dubois finds his way on top of Sandin. And the interesting thing at that time, it's like the first line is on the ice, Marner, Matthews, and Bunting. And so if you're a Winnipeg guy, it's almost like free reign to get in free shots at those players, which usually doesn't happen. So I'm actually surprised those guys got out a little more unscathed, because any chance you have like that where it's like this can fly under the radar, a little bit of a shot here or there, usually teams will take their liberties on you.
Okay, so now that we've got the movie is 2/3 done, we can go back and re-edit it and take out Clifford and Simmons and put in Aubé-Kubel and Engvall, and this is a different hockey game. I mean, this is part of the game, is that you have to have a physical response, or at least a hint of it. And when you don't have that, things can go wrong for you. I totally back what they did here, and I'm not into fighting for no particular reason. There's not a lot of that here. There's response to situations, which is part of the game.
Yeah, and sometimes the game isn't going to line up for you the way you want to, and certain situations aren't just going to present themselves. You need to go looking for it on the ice. And I think tonight, like with Simmons and Clifford, the game hasn't really presented them a lot of opportunities to assert themselves, I guess, physically or in that fighting kind of manner. But what it has done is it's provided them a great opportunity to bring their energy into the game. And Wayne Simmons and Kyle Clifford, they're going to connect on the goal with David Kampf off the rush. And that's such an important goal for the team, just because I've been on the bench in those situations, and the morale when a fourth line scores and it's kind of the unheralded guys scoring like that, I think everyone gets a little bit of a boost from that. And even the fact that this game does have this physical edge, having those guys around, it kind of gives guys a little more confidence to get into those confrontations, to throw the body around a little more. And yeah, it's not every shift that Kyle Clifford is going to get into someone's business or Wayne Simmons is going to stir the pot, but it allows other guys to play with their chest puffed out a little bit more. And I think that elevates everyone's game a little bit.
Well, and the truth of the matter is, I think they both played, Simmons and Clifford, in that period, 2-3 shifts maximum, and it starts with a goal. It doesn't start with physical play. It starts with a goal from that fourth line.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating thing for Winnipeg, is the fact that these guys are out there scoring goals. And I think that's all you can ask for. Like, your fourth line gets you a goal. It gets you good energy. It gets you good rhythm into the game. And then that elevates your elite players as well, because now you're heading on to the power play because of some undisciplined play by Winnipeg. Austin Matthews, he gets a nice assist. John Tavares gets a goal. I think Rasmus Sandin looks really good, especially on the first unit. That's something I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit, actually, is kind of seeing Rasmus Sandin get spotted a little bit on that first unit, because Morgan Riley's a great power play player. I have a lot of respect for what he does. I think Rasmus Sandin, and this is, very accurate with a lot of players, certain players run things differently. Sandin runs a different kind of power play than Morgan Riley does, and every once in a while, to throw that wrinkle in there throws the other team off.
Frankie C., thanks very much. I'm just going to exit with this. Austin Matthews in that period had 3 shots on goal. 2 of them were blocked. In the first period, he had 4 attempts that missed, and he was a lot more accurate. We look for something out of him in the third period. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved.
Oh, hi. I'd like to apply for a loan so I can consolidate some of my debts.
Sure. Do you own your home?
Yes, but Carl, our resident ghost, keeps saying it's his house and we should get out.
Okay, but you are the registered owner.
Yes.
Then you're approved.
Hey, hear that, Carl? Huh?
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved.
Go to alpinecredits.ca to get started. Some conditions apply.
FSRA license 12616.
Right now,
Right meow.
there are deeply fake SUVs pretending to be as capable as a Subaru.
Smubaru.
But if you want symmetrical,
Schmeometrical.
all-wheel drive,
Me all-wheel drive.
and award-winning safety, forget what the copycats are saying.
Who, me? You?
Yes, Miu. Insist on the original and don't fall for fakes this fall. Get the real deal from your Smubaru dealer. Subaru dealer.
Some people think going to the movies is about watching one, but they've forgotten the true magic of the cinema. At the movies, you can smell the memory of being a kid. Taste the wonder in losing yourself in a well-directed masterpiece. Touch the parts of your heart you forgot were still tender. And hear the contagious laughter of the crowd. See the lights dim and the energy shift. It's time to get back to it. Feel again. At a theater near you.
Sandoz Hotels has the best all-inclusive hotels in Cancun, the Riviera Maya, and Los Cabos. Discover Sandoz Carico Eco Resort, nestled in between the jungle and beach. Sandoz Playaca, with its white sand beaches. Sandoz Cancun, in the heart of the hotel zone. And Sandoz Finisterra, sculpted into the picturesque mountains. Paradise beaches, international cuisine, and the best entertainment ever. Fun is guaranteed on your Sandoz vacation. Discover our latest offers now at sandoz.com.
PC Optimum hacks are some of my favorite messages. Here's another great one.
I went to Shoppers Drug Mart and couldn't resist a few beauty products. So I opened the PC Optimum app, loaded all my offers, and got 20 times the points. That's 30% back.
So smart to turn things you need into things you want. From lipstick and mascara to piling up the points. That's how we make things better. Open your PC Optimum app and load your offers.
The 20 times the points offer runs October 21st to 23rd, exclusive to Shoppers Drug Mart. Restrictions apply. Details in store and in the app.
Today on Hey Culligan, reverse to reduce. Here's Bob.
Hey Culligan, I love fresh water, but I got plastic bottles coming out.
Whoa, Bob, you are not kidding about the bottles. But did you know Culligan's reverse osmosis and always-on drinking water systems provide fresh, clean, delicious drinking water and help reduce the equivalent of over 15 billion plastic bottles from landfills worldwide?
Holy, fresh, environmentally friendly drinking water. Am I right?
Right, Bob. And we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. Build your next dream Toyota at Maple Toyota. And check out Maple Toyota's pre-owned inventory arriving daily. It's time to Toyota. Visit mapletoyota.com. Here's what we have in the Out-of-Town Scoreboard. The Islanders losing to Tampa 4-2. That's early in the third. Likewise, same time frame, Kings and Capitals tied at 2. In the second, it is the Stars 4-2 over the Montreal Canadiens. End of the second, it is the Penguins and Blue Jackets tied at 3. Elsewhere, end of the first period, Flyers 2-0 over Nashville. Earlier today, Boston got by Minnesota 4-3 in overtime. Devils have defeated the Sharks 2-1. Senators got by the Coyotes 6-2. Edmonton got shut out by St. Louis 2-0. Later on tonight, Canes and Flames, Sabres and Canucks, Avs, and the Golden Knights. In our game, it is 3-1 for the Leafs over the Winnipeg Jets after 40 minutes of play, and that'll mean the third period is next on Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
I'm having a hard time deciding what to get from 2-for-1 Pizza.
It's pizza. How hard can it be?
It's not just pizza. 2-for-1 Pizza has so many great choices like the plant-based garden pesto pizza, pizza and wings, the pizza and penne combo, and the sweet combo with apple fritter, just to name a few.
Ooh, decisions.
Check out all the great menu items at 241 Pizza. Visit 241pizza.com.
241 Pizza, 241, 241. I'm building a tiny home in our backyard so my mother can live right next to us.
What? You got a survey plan, right?
and a rabies test for her.
Yep, survey plan for the building permit and to avoid boundary issues.
Boundary issues with your mother. You'll be moving into that tiny house with her.
Don't risk building permit problems or family fiascos with your next reno. Get an existing survey plan of your property before you build from protectyourboundaries.ca. Protectyourboundaries.ca.
The Sandman. Sing of only two things. Act 3.
Where is this place?
This is the Inn of the World's End.
Starring James McAvoy.
Gene, what are you going to do?
I have to kill my son.
That's the stupidest thing I've heard in centuries.
The epic audio series continues, based on the DC graphic novels written by Neil Gaiman. Listen now, only from Audible.
Say konnichiwa to Japan with Air Canada. Get ready for the adventure of a lifetime with our non-stop year-round flights to Tokyo from Toronto. Now's your chance to savor umami moments in local izakayas. Wander through neon-soaked streets. Sing your heart out in a karaoke bar. And get your zen on in ancient temples. Are you ready to make sumo-sized memories? The land of the rising sun awaits your arrival. Book now at aircanada.com or contact your travel agent.
TSN 1050. Listen anywhere. Stream us on iHeartRadio, the TSN app, or on Apple CarPlay. TSN 1050. Everywhere you want it.
Maple Leafs carry a lead into the third period. That's news.
This year it is. First time this year the Leafs have led after 40 minutes of play. And like you said, every game has been close. It's either been tied or they've been down a goal after 2. And here's an opportunity on the road to not do what the Vancouver Canucks have done this year. Because, it does become a thing in your head. And now everybody's talking about it. Now there's jokes on social media about it. And you get into that. And the Leafs have done that in the past where they've blown leads early on in the season and it's come back to haunt them all the way through. So it's something that you want to be able to go out. And Dylan Keefe, I'm sure, would be thrilled with a scoreless third period.
You know, the most consecutive wins to start a Maple Leaf career in goal. Frank McCool went 6-0-0 in the 44-45 season, of which I was not a part of. However, Ilya Samsonov is 3-0-0, looking for a fourth tonight. Joseph Wall started last year when he came in, 3-0-0, including a shutout in there as well. Jean-Sébastien Aubin. In 05-06 was 3-0. Darren Pupa, 3-0 in the 92-93 season when he came over from Buffalo. Mike Palmateer, your goaltending problems are over. And Palmy went on to a great year there as well. As we're underway here in the third period, the Leafs to the left and the Jets to the right. No penalties to carry over, but it was a physical second period as it's cleared off the boards to center ice by the Maple Leafs. Played back to the near wing, turning back in his own zone. Here is Appleton. The pass comes ahead and it's shot down into the Toronto zone. Brody, after a high stick making contact, play goes on, up ahead. Kerfoot dumps it in over the line into the corner, but can't follow it up. And it's brought back into the center ice area now by Connor, who now heads to the bench as Wheeler couldn't help him out. Puck bounces to the line and in now for Toronto. Stopping up is Kerfoot. Slid it in around back of the net looking for Marner. Couldn't get to it. Poked up on the right side. Cole Perfetti gets to center, and he'll shoot it down into the Toronto end. Out of the net now is Samsonov. He gave the puck away. It comes in front of the goal, and it comes back to the point with a shot that's deflected. Another shot stopped by Samsonov on the short side. He was the orchestrator of his own demise and then makes another big pad save off the side of the net. And the Leafs are kind of hemming around here in their own end as it's cleared into their bench. And a whistle, and an important one brought here, is Ilya Samsonov kind of got twisted around back of the goal trying to play it along the wall, and it got blocked.
I think it was Perfetti, was it not, that he hit when he tried to clear it up the boards and it bounced right back out in front of Blake Wheeler. Samsonov was able to recover and get over and make the stop. We kind of noticed that in the preseason, didn't we, that Samsonov may not be the next Marty Brodeur.
Played to center. Down into the Winnipeg end. Aston Reese into the forecheck, but it is cleared back down the ice, and an icing charge coming here against the Winnipeg Jets, and it'll be brought back into the zone. Austin Matthews with a pair of assists in this game. 20 games against the Winnipeg Jets, 10 goals, 16 assists for 26 points. Among the leaders as far as the Leafs are concerned on their team against the Winnipeg franchise.
By the way, Frank McCool that you mentioned, the Leaf record for 3 consecutive shutouts in the postseason.
He was a cool character, you know. Brought on now by the Leafs and over the line, trying to drive the net with a backhand was Matthews. And it went just wide. The rebound kept in. Punk to the blue line, not out. Marner looking for a man in front, got a shot away, but it went off a stick and up into the screen and out of play. And you just know that 34 is going to get one, and then they're going to all start going in for him. It's just going to happen.
But the last couple of games, you're starting to see the scoring chances. And especially this one. This might be his most dangerous of the season so far in Game 6.
4 shots, 12 attempts at goal. He's had 2 assists, as we mentioned. Face-off won by Toronto's Camp. Long shot deflects. Oh, and it bounced off the end boards and off the back heel of Hellebuck, but it went wide. Oh, my. Another long shot. Hellebuck down. And he's going to cover up on that with Simmons and Clifford in front of the goal. And the fourth line almost came up with another one.
You like the fact that if they're not doing anything fancy, it's Sandin that throws it.
Purposely wide.
Yeah, banks it off the backboards, and it goes off the back of Hellebuck, who's searching for it, and onto a Leaf stick, but the Leafs were unable to capitalize.
Connor Hellebuck was more good fortune than good management there because he was out of the crease. And if that gone off, for the lack of a better term, Ralphie, as the Leafs get it again and a shot goes high and wide, had it gone off his left cheek instead of his right cheek, it would have gone in the net.
Well, I'm going to bite my tongue under the first thing that popped up into my head.
Shifley gets it down into the Toronto zone. The puck along the boards as it comes back to the point. Near side now for Stanley. A long shot goes wide of the goal. Jets buzzing around here and a centering pass. And a shot went wide. They get the rebound on the far wing with a shot. And down is Samsonov to swallow that up. And then Shifley comes in and gives Simmons a bit of a shot.
And Shifley gets a break because the linesmen jump in right away and grab the 2. With all due respect to Mark Shifley, I don't think Rick Bowness wants him dropping the gloves with Wayne Simmons.
Going to be a penalty here, and it might go to Simmons.
Shifley took a Sandin wrist shot off the ankle before that. I'm trying to see what the penalty would have been. Shifley was incensed. I mean, it was a little shot, but then Shifley comes back with a cross check. But I think you're right. I think Simmons is going to be the only one going. So what the linesman essentially did was save Winnipeg from a penalty. Shifley got the freebie on the cross check. So again, this is one of those we saw Clifford take a penalty in the first period. Now Simmons here in the third. And this is what you don't need from them. Great to have a physical presence, but 2 penalties that have nothing to do with defending.
Now a centering pass, block. Leafs trying to free it up. It goes back behind the Toronto goal. Passed off onto the left wing side. A centering feed deflects high in the air and goes wide. Giordano unable to get to it as it comes around the boards and is going to go all the way down the ice. Got to apologize. Sometimes it is tough to read the numbers of the Winnipeg jerseys because they are sort of like the New York Rangers 3-dimensional red with white on the sides. And it's especially doing it off a monitor here, it makes it a little more difficult. Puck along the boards and into the corner. Looking for a man in front, and the pass was just deflected. Another shot goes whistling wide of the net from the point, and it's going to come all the way out and down the ice into the Winnipeg zone.
That maybe glance off the far post as well.
Dubois with the chance. And across the line, Connor looking for a drop pass. It comes back to the blue line. Dubois got a shot and into the glove. A deflection, rather, past the glove of Samsonov, goes up into the screen, out of play.
You have another look at that opportunity, the one-timer from the top of the left wing circle.
Scheifele had to go right by him, and it came right back to Kyle Connor, who ended up getting the chance.
And here's one more look.
Sorry, it was Dubois. Yep.
Yeah, it does catch some iron.
Yeah, it was Dubois. Sorry, 80. So the face-off with 56 seconds left in the power play is again in the Toronto zone. And the draw scrummed, but backhanded in by Kyle Connor around back of the net. It comes around the boards, trapped by the Jets to get it back of the net. Centering pass, bouncing puck, not maintained, but played back to the blue line. Morrissey walks the line and drops it off on the left wing. Gets it back again, right in the slot of shot. Big blocker save made there by Samsonov. Puck is then stolen back by the Maple Leafs. It's going to be carried gingerly to center, and Aston Reese will send it the rest of the way down the ice. Samsonov has made a couple of big saves here as the Leafs lead 3-1. Back across the line. 18 seconds left in the penalty. Into the slot. A pass. Comes back in front of the net. They don't get a shot away. Now back to Morrissey. Again, another one-timer. And that was blocked in front of the net by Giordano. Kept back for Morrissey again. Morrissey, cross-ice feed. Down into the corner. It goes for Kyle Connor. Connor around back of the net. Gets it out into the slot, a shot, and down is Samsonov. On a shot by Dubois, swallowed up by the Leaf netminder.
The Winnipeg Jets really guilty of trying to be too cute. As one of the shots that was stopped was a redirection.
Blake Wheeler.
I believe it was Blake Wheeler, who, by the way, had his first ever NHL hat trick against the Leafs while a member of the Boston Bruins. But they had a number of times to deliver to the net, didn't they, Joe? And elected instead to hold on to it and look for something better.
They've had 5 shots here in the third period. The Leafs have had just one, but a lot of those shots came on that power play that has subsequently ended. Jets play it to the line, wrap back out at center. Robertson brought it back into his defense to get it ahead, and now the Leafs are in over the line. A wrist shot is blocked. The rebound is brought in and backhanded into the corner by Victor Mete. Round back of the net, Robertson upended, but when he went down, he tripped up the defenseman. Now works back at the net, but can't get by a hit. Now Tavares with it, playing it back into the left wing corner, and the Leafs are going to try and get a change started. Barron comes to center, played it down into the Toronto end. Riley chipping it along the boards for Marner. Marner curls out and starts up ice. Left wing feed to the line. Was delayed a little bit, but apparently is onside. Doesn't matter. It's come back out at center ice. Shot ahead then by Brody. They don't get the puck into the Toronto end. The Jets curl and bring it right back in again. Janssen Felby trying to get it in front of the net, but that was blocked. Morrissey with a shot that's gone off a body to the far wing. DeMello keeps it in and back of the net for Toronto. Now played off the boards to center, and DeMello is there to regroup it for the Jets, and now changes coming for both teams. Played back into the Leaf end. Out of the goal there was Samsonov to Brody. Brody to Hall, and the Leafs trying to get it ahead, and dude is line and in. I don't think Riley's out of the box yet because of the delayed penalties and everything else that went on. Now around back of the net, we haven't seen him on the ice anyway. Played up on the wing, and it is brought out at center ice by the Jets. Perfetti got in over the line, but Hall put a stop to that. Leafs play it around back of the net, under control, and are just going to flip it high into neutral ice. It'll bound down into the Winnipeg end. Morrissey playing it off. Got it ahead at center. Brought on by Dubois. In across the line, a little roll in on goaltender Samsonov, who coolly played it ahead to the captain, and Tavares got it out at center. Now here's Tavares in across the line on the left wing side, making a couple of moves, then got a shot away, and he fed it wide of the net. Nylander trapping and keeping it in and sending it towards the goal, but it's blocked, and the Jets come away with it. Approaching 8 minutes played here in the third period, and the Maple Leafs with a 3-1 lead in Winnipeg. Pass to the line and in. That was close to being offside. Shot deflects off the goaltender to the near wing and to the line. Just kept in there by the Jets. Round back of the net, looking for a man in front was Scheifele. Now Scheifele still out there as Connor works the far boards. Pass deflects. Was that a high stick? Apparently not. Down in along the boards it goes. It was close. Then a shot whistles off the shoulder of Samsonov. Kept in at the blue line. Dubois dropping it back to the blue line. Neil Pionk holds. Pionk being challenged there by Simmons. The puck goes free to Tavares, who's been on the ice for a long shift. And now Simmons gets it off the boards and gets it out. And the Leafs will scamper to the bench.
Winnipeg in need of a line change as well, so both teams will exchange.
Here's Dubois, or at least Morrissey, sending it down into the Toronto zone.
There's Riley.
Thanks very much, Ralphie. Played up ahead at center and now in over the line and played down into the Winnipeg zone. Well, there hasn't been a stoppage of play, so I guess he was there. He just didn't. I hadn't seen him on the ice. Now Kyle Clifford gets back to try and chip it out, but can't. Here the Jets in with a shot. Stop, rebound in front of the goal. And it is taken to safety by the aforementioned Morgan Riley and carried to center ice. The veteran's in over the line with a pass, looking for Matthews, and he tipped it wide. Leafs will get it back to Marner. Center ice area. Backhanded high into the corner. Matthews goes in after it. Double teamed in there as it's set around the boards. Bunting trying to get a man. Poked the puck free. Cleared off the wall, and now the Jets will get it out. Leafs are going to shoot it right back in again, courtesy of Justin Hall. 56 shot attempts for the Leafs, 48 for the Winnipeg Jets as it's cleared to center ice. And Yarncrook couldn't get away. Hard not to say Jason Spezza when you see 19 there, isn't it? Brought in over the line now by the Leafs, but quickly cleared back out at center. And it'll be Sandin finding his defense partner. And it's cleared up ahead for Kerfoot, who gets it down into the Winnipeg zone. The Leafs have been diligent on just trying to make sure they get it into the end of the rink. They have tried to not be outmanned by any stretch of the imagination. An icing call here coming against Winnipeg.
Yeah, you don't want anybody to get caught deep, and that's why Winnipeg now, despite the Leafs having a 3-1 lead, the shots favor the Winnipeg Jets 27-24. But you're right with some players. The numbers are, especially if it's recently, when Kyle Clifford comes in and wears number 43, Nazem Kadri wore, it takes some time to get used to it. There's some other, sometimes not even well-known players.
No, exactly, yeah. Down into the corner, played around on the boards in the Winnipeg end. Pinching there with Sandin to keep it alive. Now Nylander plays to the left wing corner for Tavares. He had it squeezed by him, and the Jets break it out at center ice. Schmidt gets it up on the right wing. Diligent back checking there by Robertson. Denies, and he carries back in on the left wing. Looking for a man going to the front of the net. He did! And it was Nylander tipping it just wide. Nice creative play made by Nick Robertson, but it starts with diligent back checking, and he comes back to take the puck away again on this rush. Want to stay in the lineup? Want to stay in this league? Play in both ends of the rink. And the overtime winning goal was spectacular. The play he made a couple of seconds prior was even better.
Yeah, the defensive play was as important as the finishing the game at the other end.
Now a puck back at the Toronto goal. They jam away at it as Samsonov got tangled up in there. Now Simmons right in front of the net is able to get rid of it, and it's out at center ice.
Well, as good as he's been, we have said the same thing since training camp.
Put a rope on him.
Stay in there.
Put a rope on him. Tie it to the front of the net. Around back of the net for Kerfoot. Now to David Camp. Camp's goal is the go-ahead marker in the second period. Chipped along the boards. Leafs are able to backhand it in. Picked off again by Winnipeg. Morrissey gets it out on the left wing, and Connor will backhand it down into the Toronto zone.
Eddie Shore used to do that, by the way, to make sure his goaltenders stayed on their feet. A rope around their neck and around the crossbar.
How'd that work?
Well, let's put it this way. If if you failed, your biggest concern wasn't not playing.
Down around back of the goal, centering pass. That was stopped by Samsonov. It comes back to the blue line. Dillon to the far side. Shot in traffic. Samsonov took it off the chest. Oh, and Giordano came in there and did a little bit of house cleaning by firing the Winnipeg Jet player into the corner of the rink.
But boy, Winnipeg very nearly capitalized on the Samsonov giveaway this time in behind the Leaf net.
You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey at TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Businesses don't run on automation or algorithms alone. What powers businesses are your people and the people they serve. At Cintas, your dedicated service reps understand what you need to help you keep your employees feeling safe, comfortable, and performing their best. So your business can too. For workwear, essential.
Parenthood is like a sport.
What's burning? I'm making eggs.
Oh my God.
Okay.
An extreme sport. An all-new Children Ruin Everything. Monday at 8/9 Mountain. Set your PVR and get into it. Only on CTV.
This continues, based on the DC graphic novels written by Neil Gaiman. Listen now, only from Audible.
At Real Canadian Superstore, we match prices when you show us a lower advertised price. So while you're grabbing cauliflower for tonight's aloo gobi, or tomatoes for your famous veggie burgers, or just doing your regular grocery run, you'll know you're getting great prices on all sorts of great stuff. Ad Match is just another way to save for real at Real Canadian Superstore. See flyer for details.
Overdrive, Toronto's favorite way to drive home. Weekdays 4 to 7 on TSN 1050.
It is a 3-1 Toronto lead here in the third period of play from Winnipeg. Face off in the Toronto zone. A shot went off a stick and went wide of the Leaf goal. Comes back to the point again. Morrissey in traffic. Had that blocked, but the rebound goes to Kyle Connor. Connor down into the corner trying to come out in front of them with a pass. And a good play made down low by the Leafs forward, Austin Matthews. Leafs back the other way with a shot, and it hit the side of the goal as Bunting tried to work in. Now Marner in front for Matthews. Oh, and he fanned on the shot.
Well, what a great setup by Marner, too.
Morgan Riley back in his own zone. Had it picked off. The Jets get it back to the blue line, but can't keep it in. And going back with it is Nate Schmidt. Off to Morrissey. Returned to Schmidt. And the Jets get it ahead and now start up ice. Brought to the line and unable to get in was Blake Wheeler. Leafs counter. Here's a drop pass for Nylander. Nylander, a nifty move. Couldn't get a backhand away, though, as he was too well covered. Then has a Jet fall on top of them. So the Jets carry in over the line. Sandin with a bit of a hip check, but the puck goes free. Still in front of the net, comes back to the point to Dillon. Long shot, big rebound in front. Cleared ahead. Nylander's going to get it out. And now Tavares skates in on the left wing. John Tavares with a little toe drag move. Couldn't get a shot away, though. 5:55 to go in a quickly played third period, much to the delight of the boys in the white uniforms, I'm sure.
The way the 29 shots for Winnipeg, that's the most that Ilya Samsonov has faced in a game in this young season.
Played down into the Toronto end. Mete played it around on the boards, backhanded off a skate, it bounds to the line. Brody trying to play it back. Mete trying to help him out as it goes around the boards. Kept alive by Winnipeg. Dropped off for Adam Lowry to the left wing side. A shot. And again, a shoulder of Samsonov getting in the way of Logan Stanley's shot. A puck down into the offensive zone, but Marner was out of gas and unable to get to it in time. Stanley back to center. Stick handles across the line. Got a shot away. Quickly smothered by Samsonov. And another face-off coming in the Toronto zone with 5:04 to play in the third period. The Maple Leafs 3, the Winnipeg Jets 1. You're listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Peoples of the internet, I am Algorithm. Call me Al. My job is to take your job. Ha ha, just kidding. I am always full of funny, ha ha, pranks, like when you browse for an all-wheel drive online. Instead of serving up a capable Subaru to your IP, I deepfake you with a super lame SUV. Ha ha, I am laughing my hashtag off. Ha 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 ha. Funny upside down face.
Don't fall for fakes this fall. Get the real deal, only at your Subaru dealer.
PC Optimum hacks are some of my favorite messages. Here's another great one.
I went to Shoppers Drug Mart and couldn't resist a few beauty products. So I opened the PC Optimum app, loaded all my offers, and got 20 times the points. That's 30% back.
So smart to turn things you need into things you want. From lipstick and mascara to piling up the points. That's how we make things better. Open your PC Optimum app and load your offers.
The 20 times the points offer runs October 21st to 23rd, exclusive to Shoppers Drug Mart. Restrictions apply. Details in store and in the app.
I want to break free.
Ready to break free? See the world with Norwegian and enjoy 35% off all cruises to Alaska, Europe, and more. We'll even help you get there with free airfare for second guest. Plus, enjoy free open bar, free specialty dining, and more. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Offer ends soon. Norwegian Cruise Line. Sail safe, feel free. Ships registry the Bahamas and USA. Restrictions apply.
Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph back here with the Leafs leading 3-1. Am I wrong? Austin Matthews should have at least two.
Yeah, he's at least two. Absolutely. Had some opportunities, and he's had some roll off his stick, too. And we even saw him in an attempted one-timer.
Came up empty.
Yeah, whiffed on that in the first period.
I'm thinking that this 5-game road trip, 34 is going to break out any minute. Centering pass comes back to the blue line, and the Jets can't keep it in. Under 5 minutes to play in the third. Morrissey down the left wing, pass to the right wing side, brought in over the line. I would have thought that was offside, but the linesman bade the game go on. Puck along the boards, and the Leafs will make it a moot point as Tavares gets to center and one hands it down into the offensive zone. Tavares after the loose puck as it comes into the near corner. Tavares and Nylander trying to dig the puck down. Nylander standing on the disc, trying to control it. The puck goes to the far wing, and it'll be Cole Perfetti, and now Scheifele getting it out into the center ice area. Justin Hall at a whistle behind the play. Have no idea. There it is. The net's off in behind Connor Hellebuck.
The other end of the ice. By the way, Austin Matthews on the night, Joe, 4 shots on goal, 4 shots blocked, 5 shots missed. 13 shot attempts by Austin Matthews.
Our next action is Monday night, 10 o'clock. Come out and stay late with us. The Leafs will be in Vegas, and we'll have that action for you.
What time's that here? 10?
10. That's 7 there.
See what I can do.
Yeah. You busy on Monday?
Don't know.
I got news for you. You better not be. Draw one by Toronto. Hall had it hit Sandin. Sandin's able to play it along the wall, and the Leafs get it onto the wing and get it out. Justin Hall in on the right side. Hall pulls up, sends it down into the corner. 3:53 left to play in the third. We'll have to keep an eye open, and I've always got my trusty man on that department to keep an eye open on Hellebuck to see when he might be coming out. Puck along the boards as it comes back to the blue line. Long shot in traffic, went wide. Played around back of the net. Leafs are able to come up with it. Nifty little move there by Riley, but then had it knocked away. The puck is in behind the net, and the scramble is on. Camp played it along the boards. Kerfoot looking to help out. The puck chipped along, and now Sandin just needs to get it elevated, and he has, out at center ice. Both teams need to get a change started, so it'll be shot into the Leaf end, and everybody's scampering for the bench. Go, Leafs, go. Going on at the arena in Winnipeg, Canada Life Center. Played up on the left wing. Jets get it to center and then shoot it in. Down into the corner then for Brody. Brody trying to chip it along the wall. Now grabbed off by Marner. Marner trying to flip it out. Got it ahead. Racing after it with an empty net. My pal Ralphie didn't tell me. And there it is into the empty net for Bunting. And the Leafs have the insurance marker. Unfortunately, no one bothered on TV to tell us the net was empty, so we couldn't tell you. But there it is. There's the insurance marker for Michael Bunting.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't turn the TV. Usually you get it up on the screen that the net is empty, but Michael Bunting, who scored the first goal of the season for the Leafs in Montreal, will get their most recent goal here as he backhands one pretty sharp angle and a rolling puck on the backhand. Coming down the right wing side, but with 2:37 to go, that'll give the Leafs a 3-goal advantage. And the Winnipeg Jets shot total is up to 32 now. I don't know where Connor Hellebuck was on that.
Well, he was on the bench.
Yeah, I know. Well, we didn't see him there either.
I'm busy with other things here. You should be able to
what?
Just try to help out, eh?
You want me to start guessing?
No. Well, you know what? It probably would help. Play down into the Toronto zone. Around back of the goal goes Adam Lowry with it. Lowry getting it back to the blue line. The pass into the side of the net. Cut off there by Sandin. He gets it up on the wing, and Clifford will get it out. Now Simmons shooting it the rest of the way and heading for the bench. Oh, yeah, Hellebuck is back in the goal. Thanks, Ralph. If it weren't for bad luck, we'd have no luck at all. Back down into the zone it goes, and here's Sandin with it. Sandin dropping it off. Nylander coming through the neutral zone. Hits the line. Got a shot away. Hellebuck back in the goal. Deflects that down into the corner. There the Leafs with it again in the offensive zone. Minute 26 to go in the hockey game. And the Leafs are going to start this 5-game road trip with a victory, their first win on the road in their second road game. A wraparound attempt by Nylander didn't work. Played back to the blue line by Tavares. He gets it returned. Tavares trying to slip it in there for Nylander. Didn't work. Looking in front of the net for Tavares on a return pass was Nylander, but that didn't connect. And now the Jets will shoot it back down into the Toronto end. A lot of the Jets fans seem to be leaving the Canada Life Center, but the Maple Leaf fans are sticking around for the celebration. 44 seconds remain here in the third period.
By the way, Marner and Matthews picking up the assists on the Bunting empty netter.
And it comes at 17:23. Remember when there were those, never mind the gambling, all of the gambling things we have now. Remember the big thing was time of the last goal on Saturday night on Hockey Night in Canada. And the guy in Montreal had a bit of a fine finger going there so that it was always an even number.
I did not know that.
You didn't know that? Oh yeah, that was a big thing. Final seconds ticking down. The Maple Leafs are going to go to the winner's circle on this one, and Rick Bowness in his first game coming back to Winnipeg is going to be in the losers category here tonight as the Maple Leafs win it by a score of 4-1.
And Ilya Samsonov goes to 4-0 on the season. As the official shot totals that we have here, 32-27 favoring the Winnipeg Jets. But 13 shots for Winnipeg in the third period. The Leafs just had 5 shots on goal, which is understandable. They weren't going to take with a 2-goal lead in the third period. Take any unnecessary chances, got back on their heels a bit. They took some penalties that they shouldn't have taken. But Samsonov made sure that all those factors and his somewhat suspect puck handling abilities behind the net didn't cost Toronto in the third period.
I'll take the bad puck handling behind the net if he's as solid as he's been in front of the net anytime. So we will step aside as we join Jim Taddy and Frankie Corrado. We hope that you will join us on Monday night when the Leafs road trip continues as they tangle with the Golden Knights in Vegas. For Jim Ralph, Joe Bowen bidding you good evening. You've been listening to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
You've been squeezing all the kiwi fruit since we came in the store.
I pre-squeeze my kiwis, just like you should have pre-screened our new house with a property survey plan before we put an offer on it.
I thought I was saving us some money.
Well, I thought I was getting a pool, but no. Without the survey plan, we didn't know the boundaries, so now I get a lawsuit. Relaxing.
Squeeze more info out of your property before you buy your new home with an existing survey plan of your property from protectyourboundaries.ca. Protectyourboundaries.ca.
Sandoz Hotels has the best all-inclusive hotels in Cancun, the Riviera Maya, and Los Cabos. Discover Sandoz Carico Eco Resort, nestled in between the jungle and beach. Sandoz Playa with its white sand beaches. Sandoz Cancun, in the heart of the hotel zone. And Sandoz Finisterra, sculpted into the picturesque mountains. Paradise beaches, international cuisine, and the best entertainment ever. Fun is guaranteed on your Sandoz vacation. Discover our latest offers now at sandoz.com.
Today on Hey Culligan, reverse to reduce. Here's Bob.
Hey Culligan, I love fresh water, but I got plastic bottles coming out.
Whoa, Bob, you are not kidding about the bottles. But did you know Culligan's reverse osmosis and always-on drinking water systems provide fresh, clean, delicious drinking water and help reduce the equivalent of over 15 billion plastic bottles from landfills worldwide?
Holy, fresh, environmentally friendly drinking water. Am I right?
Right, Bob. And we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.ca.
This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs.
Final seconds ticking down. The Maple Leafs are going to go to the winner's circle on this one. And Rick Bowness in his first game coming back to Winnipeg is going to be in the losers category here tonight as the Maple Leafs win it by a score of 4-1.
That is Joe Bowen with the final call. Welcome to the postgame show, Leafs Game Night. Jim Taddy, Frankie Corrado, Jimmy Ralph with you. 4-1, best performance by the Leafs all year. Ralphie, there's a lot here, and I guess you can start with the fourth line getting the game-winning goal and contributing after that as well.
Yeah, I mean, they did flirt with disaster. Clifford taking the penalty in the offensive zone in the first period. Simmons taking the penalty after the play in the third. So it's great that we're not talking about that and discipline and everything else. And let's stick with a positive and kind of a broken play, but Wayne Simmons looks like Wayne Gretzky when it comes to making that play pass between his own feet, backhanded pass into David Kamp's stick right in the slot. So the Leafs certainly will take it. And I agree with you. It was probably their most complete performance of the season.
Ralphie, I was talking about it during one of the intermissions where, maybe we might have expected a little more of the physical stuff from Wayne Simmons and Kyle Clifford, and we saw how the game kind of escalated. But you saw that they connected on a goal as well. So I think just, having those guys around, that kind of energy, it allows guys to play with their chest puffed out a little more. It gives everyone a little more confidence, even though they might not be in on every little thing that happens. They might not be running guys through the boards every shift. There's just something about having those guys around where you feel like you have the confidence to play and be more assertive because, if it does really go south, they're going to be there for you.
Yeah, and I think the game in Winnipeg last year for the Leafs had a lot to do with it as well. You remember there were 2 suspensions came out of 2 plays that weren't even penalties on the ice, which was Jason Spezza with a knee on Neil Pionk, and Pionk took Rasmus Sandino with a knee hit. So I think that probably had as much to do with it when you start looking at who they might face. I don't know, Frankie, if you would think that it's going to be based on who the opponent is, as to whether the Clifford and Simmons get in on a regular basis, or if you're just going to stick with a winning lineup and go ahead.
Ralphie, it was an adventurous night for goaltender Samsonov. I'd like you to jump in on that, and maybe there's something that you could relate to from your day.
Oh yeah, I remember very early on, I'd get caught out behind the net, and then somebody had some good advice for me. They said, "Stop it, just stay in the net." Yeah, there's, especially back when I played, there was a pretty good reason why we became goaltenders. It's because we couldn't do that with other skates on and smaller equipment. So, I even noticed, I think it was a game in Belleville in the preseason. You're trying to say, okay, well, it's still early, but he doesn't look like the reincarnation of Marty Brodeur back there handling the puck. So, that might be one thing that, whether it's working on it or practice or just saying, you know what, don't stop the puck behind the net and look around like you're a quarterback dropping back into the pocket, because as you find, you run out of time and space very quickly.
It's such a fine line too, because I found that the goaltenders who can really play the puck as a D-man, they make it so much easier on you, right? You feel like you have a third guy back there and you're not the one taking the brunt of it, because like if the goalie goes and plays the puck, he can't get hit. So now everyone's got their attention on him. If he can make a decent pass to you as a defenseman, you're like, oh, great, there's nobody to hit me now. I'm just going to make a nice pass. Is that something like, what does he do? Can he keep working on that, or is that just what the card he's dealt? He's just not going to be a great puck handler, but he might be a very good goalie.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot, as you would know, Frank, a lot has to do with the communication from the D. They're going to say, ring it. They'll say, I don't think they're going to say, hold on to it and look around.
Yeah. Have a little poise back there, would you?
I think Willie's hoping at center, see if they can fire it up.
I can't imagine like going back for the puck. I always was the guy who liked to yell early to tell the goalie what to do, because I knew the situation. I go, this guy, he can't play the puck. Some guys can.
Yeah.
But can you imagine going back there and being like, hey, you got time. You got time. Yeah. No chance. Yeah. I never say that.
Yeah, no, that's one of those that if it's not, stop it and jump back into the blue paint. It's try to wire it up on the glass to get it past somebody coming in. And like we said, he had a couple of miscues, but was able to get back and get himself out of trouble. And that's the most you can hope for on that, is that you have that time to get back and cover up for your own mistakes. So there were a lot of moments where things could have gone south. Like we said, the two penalties to Simmons and Clifford. Thankfully, we're talking about the goal of David Camp from the fourth line, and not the penalties they took. I still thought, even when we never got a view of the penalty box to see that Sandin wasn't the one penalized on that one play. And I thought it wasn't as bad as the hit on Mitch Marner in the first period, but I thought both of them should have been penalties. And I thought the Leafs got some breaks there where it ended up that the Leafs ended up going on the power play, and Sandin was part of it.
Austin Matthews had 3 assists in this game. He had 13 shot attempts. Only 4 got through, but he was all over the place. He made a major contribution, not just on the score sheet, but with physical play too, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought this was, I think every game he's looked better, but this was probably very easily his most dominant offensively. But you see everything's a little bit off. He's missed blocker side a couple of times. There was a one-timer attempt that he just totally whiffed on from the right wing circle. But it's the Austin Matthews that you're used to seeing that I think we saw tonight, where sometimes they don't go in, and eventually he's going to get his 3-4 goals in a game, and everybody's going to say he's back.
I thought the best defenseman on the ice tonight for both teams was Rasmus Sandin, and I was telling Jimmy during one of the intermissions that he's skating the puck up the ice, he's doing the fakes, he's beating guys one-on-one. And there's certain players where you kind of get a little uneasy when they do that. When he was doing it tonight, there was one instance where he got poke checked, but he got back and he got the puck to Matthews and they got moving the other way. But I never really feel panicked when he does that with the puck. Is that how you feel as well when you watch him do that?
Yeah, and I don't know if I would say that even a year ago, Frankie, but he seems to have a little bit of swagger here. That, it's not about trying to be tentative and, being a little unsure as when to go or when to hang back. He's got I would compare it to the swagger that Morgan Riley has, bringing the puck up ice, where you see it's just confidence that he's in control. He's going to make the right play. If he runs out of space, he's going to dump it in, but dangerous. And I love him on the power play. The goal that Alex Kerfoot scored against Dallas was a wrist shot from the point that got through. He had a number of those as well, where he was just, fire it towards the net. He's got and it's not easy. I know you can attest to this, Frankie, that you think it's the easiest thing in the world just to lob it from the blue line and get it on net, but it's a talent to get it, past forwards that are trying to take your eyes away and all the traffic in front. So that's something I really like about him in the second power play unit as well.
Yeah, I think there was a year where I only played maybe 15 games, but I actually led the league in expected shin pads hit per 60.
Yeah.
So that was
that's funny because I didn't expect you to say that.
But I agree with you about Rasmus Sandin being on the power play. And I think when the second power play unit gets out, and we saw them get a little bit of time tonight, it's very shot mentality, right? Like Robertson, he's thinking shot right away. Kerfoot, shot right away. Rasmus Sandin, I think he kind of establishes that. I wouldn't mind every once in a while seeing him get some reps with the first unit. I understand that's Morgan Riley's spot, and you want to get some continuity there early in the season. But it just adds a little bit of a different flavor to the power play, and every defenseman runs a power play a little different. Like if I look at the Ottawa Senators, Thomas Chabot and the Sanderson kid, they're very different on how they run the power play, and you can see the difference in both of the units. I wouldn't mind seeing Sandin get spotted there every once in a while in a game.
Yeah, and Morgan Riley very seldom tries to get to the net from the middle of the ice. Like sometimes you'll see the one-timer, but it's more top of the circle. So yeah, I like that. And of course, it's only going to work if, and we saw it on the John Tavares redirection goal on the power play where Austin Matthews threw it to the net. That's one thing, like you said, shot first. But when you get the second power play unit out, usually you'll have the double screen in front of the net, as opposed to where you see Tavares, the side of the net below the goal line, and everybody else sort of fanned out around the top of the slot. So I like the fact that, you've got different personnel, obviously, in the second unit, but you really like the different mentality that comes with it.
Well, the Sandin growth is since he's been put in the top four, and I don't know what was said in his negotiations, and quite frankly, I don't have much to say about negotiations because my agency is take it or leave it. But maybe he was talking about them.
Leave it, guy.
That's offers above expected.
Yeah. But maybe he was talking about where he wanted to end up, and through the course of injury, he's able to sort of back up what he might have said.
Yeah, and it's that's the tough part. When you go through that, and sometimes it's hard not to have hurt feelings, because I remember reading Jerry Cheever's book in the early 70s, and he was talking about negotiating a new contract and how he got an agent for the first time, because he said, I could go into Harry Sinden and say I'm worth $50,000 a year, and Harry could say, no, you're not. And he says, what am I going to say? We're going to start an argument about how bad I am. So it's important not to get emotionally attached to the negotiations, but certainly sometimes that can be very difficult to do.
Ralphie, would you constitute tonight as the elite players getting into a quote-unquote rhythm? Like, I thought the first line played pretty well. I thought they were really good off the rush. I thought Willie Nylander was exceptional again. I think John Tavares showed, what he does down in his office there, low in the zone. Would you say that they're in a rhythm yet, or do you want to see more until you say that?
I'd say they're getting there. And this is as close as that rhythm you're talking about, Frankie, that we've seen this year. And let's not forget Nick Robertson.
He was
again,
great tonight.
Again, very noticeable.
Yeah.
And one of the things, sometimes you listen to somebody in an interview and you see if they go out and back it up. And Nick Robertson, I know it sounds like the standard interview when they say, what do you got to do? And this was before the game against Dallas, his first game of the year. I got to keep my feet moving. And that was what he was saying, that I've got to be good defensively in my own end, and I've got to keep my feet moving. And I think we've really noticed that, even to the extent that he's almost had his head taken off a couple of times.
Yeah, and you know what? I thought he was really good, and I thought both teams were really good backtracking off the rush tonight, but Nick Robertson was noticeable. There's at least 3 or 4 times where he's one of the first guys back. He's getting a stick on it. He's kind of in someone's way. That's how you earn a coach's trust. Like, you can do all the offensive stuff, and you're expected to do the offensive stuff if you're an offensive player. But if you're a guy like Robertson and you want to cement yourself on that second line, you have to earn the trust. And I think he did a good job of that so far.
Yeah, and even the overtime goal against Dallas, it's 3-on-3, but he makes a great defensive play that sets up his overtime winner. So, yeah, they, that's the one thing that, they can't teach you, how to be a better shooter. They can't teach you. You can improve your skating, but some guys are gifted. But everybody can be taught how to play defensively. So if you don't buy into that part of the game, you really have a tough time earning the coach's trust in the other parts.
Well, this is a great way to start off a road trip. I like the way the Leafs played. I like how they won. And, the message is there to the guys that didn't play tonight, that this is what you have to do to stay in this lineup. And, it'd be hard to miss that message, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not 100% sure you're going to go back with the exact same lineup.